Hello, and welcome to the final stream of the year. How's it going? How are you doing? I hope you're doing well. I hope you've been enjoying your weekend and your December and your holiday season. I hope it's going well. It is, as I said, the final stream of the year. It's the final stream of 2023. I can't believe it. I can actually. I can. It's very likely that we've made it through another year because it's happened. I know it's not actually the end of the year yet, but we've made it through another year. Congratulations, well done. No, it's the end of the year, and because I can, I always go on like a little break towards the end of the year. I just give myself a couple of weeks away from streaming over the holiday season, and yeah, so I won't be streaming for the next few weeks. So as I said, last stream of the year, I'll be gone for a few weeks. But yeah, but I like to use these last streams as a little roundup, a catch up, a hangout. You know, what did we do this year? Look back on the year that we've just had, the year that's been, the year that's gone. What's happened? What shenanigans did we get up to? With the main thing being, I like to do a tier list, a ranking of all the games I streamed. It's significantly fewer this year, so I started streaming a bit less this year. I think it's because around about this time last year, I think I don't know if you'd call it burnout. I feel like that's the easiest way to phrase it, but I don't know. I wasn't really happy, wasn't really feeling streaming, and I started streaming a little bit less, and you know what? That honestly did kind of help. I definitely think I enjoyed streaming a lot more this year, or maybe not a lot more, but you know, I have terrible memory, so I don't remember how I felt about it last year. But I've enjoyed streaming this year, when there was definitely a time when I thought that I had stopped enjoying it. So it was nice to enjoy it again, and of course that's thanks to you, the people who come by and watch my streams and chat in the chat, and you know, and support me with subs and all that. It's always appreciated. It's by no means necessary, but I do appreciate it. And I do appreciate the few people who come by here and stop and hang out. It's very much appreciated. And as I said, you guys are one of the big reasons why I think I found this year fun. Why I enjoyed streaming this year again. It was good. We had fun. So I guess it's always weird doing a just chatting stream, because I can ramble. Trust me, I can ramble, but I never know what to ramble about. And at some point, I can go. It was like, what point does the stream? At what point is the stream no longer starting soon? Now the stream is no longer starting soon now, because I've gone full cam. I'm here. I'm in the flesh. I'm in front of you, live and direct. That sounds like that could be like a good opening to like an old school hip hop rap song. Here in the flesh, live and direct. Some sucker MC's about to get wrecked or something like that. I don't know. I'm not a rapper. I'm not a hip hopper. I'll stick to my stringed instruments. My keyboard is on. It's not really on the floor, but it's chilling there. It's like it doesn't fit in my guitar stand. So, but it's there in like it's not even there in spirit. It is there, but it's it's half there in spirit. Half like actually physically there, half metaphorically there, to create something that's neither here nor there. As I said, I can ramble. I think I'm a good rambler. Just chatting streams should be my bread and butter. I don't know. There's a thing on Twitch somewhere, like if you do like a stream summary, like how your last stream went or whatever. It likes to show you like what are the people who watched you watch. So and I think it's supposed to give you ideas for like, oh, if I stream this, my audience would presumably like this because they watch other streams like this. And the category is always just chatting. I don't know if like that's just because it's me. Like I somehow just the audience I have accrued only watches just chatting streams. But they always just go, you know what your audience likes? Your audience likes just chatting streams. So basically, if nobody turns up for this stream, I will cry myself to sleep tonight. But that's an empty threat, because presumably the people aren't here to, you know, be threatened by it. But that doesn't mean it won't happen. But yeah, so I was saying about I rank the games I played this year, and as I said, there's considerably fewer games because I streamed less. I went from streaming 3 times a week to most of the time twice a week. I say most of the time because there was definitely a lot of time when I just didn't do that anyway. I either was busy doing other stuff, so I just didn't stream twice a week, or there was that brief period in, like, I want to say August maybe, when I did actually go back to streaming 3 times a week because there were so many games that I was playing at one time. But I was looking at it, and I think last year I had 44, I think, games. Yeah, 44 or 43. One of them. I'm like counting the files in. I make like a little folder for all the games I streamed. There's 44 files, but one of them is like the recap. One of them is like the image of the tier list. So I had 43 games last year. 23 games this year. 23 games for 2023. Here's my 23 games of 2023. That could, you know, that could be a viral thing that people do. You know, my 23 games for 2023. 23 albums for 2023. You know. That would require people to, you know, indulge in 23 things. But I guess it's easy when you don't indulge in new stuff. Like, not a whole lot of these are new games, I'll be completely honest with you. Like, I'm gonna try and count what games were new. 1, 2, 3, 4 kind of, because that's a remake. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Again, that's the remake. So I think 10. I don't actually know if that came out this year. Oh, no, I'm looking at. Okay, so potentially 10 games that came out this year. 2 of which are definitely remakes. 1 of which I'm not entirely sure actually did come out this year. I'm just kind of going, it might have. I don't know. You know, so if we're going on like, oh, how many games of, you know, 2023 or 2023? Yeah, played 2023 games for the year 2003. I don't even know how you'd be able to do. For that, you'd have to play every game on, like, you'd have to get like a handful of those like 501 cartridges and just, you know, count that as, oh yeah, I've played 500 games. 20 of them are Pong, but you know, I've played 500 games this year, totally. Yeah, so I absolutely haven't played 23 new games this year, but I played 23 games total. I mean, I also just did play games offline as well. There's a few games that I played 1 new game offline. It was Zelda. Fittingly, I played not Breath of the Wild. I played Tears of the Kingdom offline. I kept that one to myself. That was a for me treat. I still haven't played Mario Wonder. I got Mario Wonder about a month or so ago. I say also, it was about a month ago, my birthday, and I was like, oh, you know what? At this, I think I thought to myself, oh, at this point, you know, it's been like a month and a bit since everybody else has like gotten and streamed Mario Wonder. People don't need to watch me play it. I'll play that in my own time. I'll keep that for myself. And then I just haven't played it. I've just been playing Picross instead. I've just been playing Picross because it's the perfect just like turn brain off game. Even though it's a thinking game, you know, it's like a puzzle game. But it's weird that it's like, hang on, you turn your brain off to, like, it's like saying you turn your brain off for like a Sudoku or like, you know, a crossword puzzle. It was like, how are you turning your brain off for a puzzle game? It's just because I'm fucking sick at them. They fucking, this completely took me by surprise. They fucking announced a Story of Seasons Picross game for like February next year. I don't know. I mean, absolutely baffling. But fuck it, like, you know, game of 2024 confirmed. Like that'll be my game of the year. As you know, most anticipated game next year. Story of Seasons Picross. And that is a weird game of like, is that worth even doing one stream of, you know? Because on one hand, it's Story of Seasons, and that's, you know, that's like where my bread and butter came from. I think it's no longer my bread and butter, but you know, it's where the bread and butter originated. It's morphed into a new thing, but you know, that used to be the stable of this channel. That used to be the foundation, and now it's like a rusty little shack to the side that everyone goes, oh yeah, I remember when that was the foundation, next to, you know, the slightly bigger shack that is the actual channel. But yeah, but then it's a you know, it's a Picross game. Like, are those good streams? I don't know. They're basically just chatting streams, except there's something in the foreground. Except, you know, there's something in front of me. It's just chatting stream, except I've been shrunken and you're just looking at someone do a number puzzle. You know? It's like, is that a good stream? As I said, I don't even know if I'd be able to get a full stream out of, like, you'd be able to get a full stream out of, like, you know, the amount of content, I imagine. But, you know, an entertaining full stream, unlikely. But, well, you know, we'll see. Maybe I'll change my mind. But yeah. So, I haven't played Mario Wonder yet. I was saying with Mario RPG, I know that's another remake, but that was a game that, again, I got for my birthday, and I was like, oh, I'll just play this offline, because I think my thinking was, it was one of those ones where it's like, I knew, because it's an RPG, I won't have time to beat it before the end of the year, especially if I'm just doing 2 streams a week. So originally, I was going to do what I did with Pokemon last year, where I got Pokemon when it came out, and then I was just like, okay, I'll stream this at the beginning of next year. And then I just changed my mind on that. And then I just went, actually, there are other RPGs that I'd rather play, not like as a diss on like Mario RPG, but just like, I don't know. I think there's just like other RPGs that are like more interesting. I don't know the words, you know. Ones that I feel like I've put on the back burner for a while and been like, I'll fucking get to them when I get to them. And so now I'm like, you know what? I'll play Mario RPG in my own time, and then I'll play, like, you know. And I can stream my my comprehensive, I might have been word. I'm not convinced myself that comprehensive was the word. My big list of RPGs that I have. I don't have that many, but I do have just a list again, like how long to beat Celeste they'll take. And so there's, like, you know, there's ones that I consider very long. It's just like, one day. You know, it's like, well, one day I'll do Fantasy Life, and, you know, or one day I'll do Little King's Story, or whatever it is, you know. One day I'll do the Pokemon Mystery Dungeon remake, you know, stuff like that. Long games. Long games, and then, you know, I get through them, you know, it takes a while longer. Well, okay, see, that's the thing. It doesn't take longer to get through games, now that I've been streaming twice a year. Twice a year? Twice a week, instead of 3 times a week. Because that's because I don't swap out games now. I used to just, like, you know, I'd have 2 playthroughs going on at a time, and each stream would swap between them. But this is like, now I just do 1. So I stream, so I get through the games faster, because instead of it being, I do it twice a week on the Monday and the Friday, and then next week I'd only do it once on the Wednesday. So in 2 weeks I've only streamed the game 3 times. Now, because I just do a game and then I beat it, and then that's it. In 2 weeks I do 4 streams of the game. So I get through games quicker, but I get through fewer games, I think. Clearly, as I've only got 23 games for 2023. I know, I think I'd like to get through more games next year, but truthfully, I don't know if I want to bump up to 3 streams again. Yeah, I've been slacking. I've been caught slacking a little bit on the streams recently, but Yeah, that was definitely a thing again. I took a more chilled approach to streaming at the beginning of the year. I was like, you know, if I'm gonna be a bit late, be a bit late, you know. If I can't, you know, make the day, don't worry about it. Just, you know, ebb and flow. Go with the groove. Don't try and get yourself stuck in a rut and you know, stuck to a strict schedule. Kind of do have a schedule, but as I said, you know, I'm trying to keep it wavy, man. Trying to keep it smooth. Trying to keep it, you know, loosey goosey. Whoever that is. And as I said, I think it's worked in, you know, making it so that I have fun streaming and I've enjoyed streaming again. But yeah. Oh damn, we haven't even been going for 20 minutes yet. Maybe I can't ramble. Maybe I said I could ramble, but I failed. The rambling competition, it's not a competition, the rambling check has not been passed. That was another thing. I was thinking, like, how am I going to get, you know, I might not get a full stream out of this because I've got half the amount of games that I usually would, you know? I don't think I have. Actually, maybe I do. Hang on. I'm going to see if I've got the 2020 list of games. How many? 40. That might include the... That includes the tier list. So I did 39 games in 2020. That was when I first started doing casual streams. So there was definitely a few, you know... There was like a bit early towards the beginning of 2020 when I didn't have a schedule either. I don't have... Yeah, I don't have... Or I don't think I have 2021's list of games. But I don't know how many games I did in 2021. But funny enough, that's probably the most. I'd reckon there's a good chance that either 2021 or 2022 are the games that I did the most in. Was what? So 2020 was 39. 43, I think I said. Yeah, 43 for 2022. Yeah, so it was probably around that number again for 2021. And yeah, a lot fewer of the games this year. But you know, I guess a good thing is seemingly a lot higher quality. You know, you play fewer games, it means you play less trash. That's not necessarily how it works, but you know, the fewer stuff that you play, the less likely you are to come across something that you don't enjoy. You know? Which means games that you don't enjoy are all the more fun and spicy, you know? Actually, sure, yeah, we can do this. Something we can talk about before we move on to the games is the Twitch recap. This was from a few days ago, or like a week or so ago now, so, you know. Old news, everybody's already shared their recaps, everybody's already gone, oh, thank you for watching and hanging out and stuff. So this is my recap. I was what, 768. Nice, all those numbers together. Total streams 83. That's, see, I've got the 22 recap as well, which it's amazing how, like, you know, much less like I don't know what the word is. The aesthetic the old one is, like the previous recap. The previous recap is so like, fuck it, I'm just saying ugly. It's very ugly compared to this shit. Like they really tried to go, ooh, look at it, wow, look at the aesthetic. And then yeah, last year's is really just like, here's the numbers, fuck you. So yeah, a lot of fewer streams this year, and because of that, a lot fewer hours watched. But that's just, you know, that makes sense. I'm not like, it's one of those things like I'm not gonna get upset that like it seems like, oh no, fewer people have watched me this year because like I've streamed less, obviously, you know. I think in general, in terms of like averages, I've probably stayed around the same. No growth, baby. But yeah. Total streams 83. New followers 48. I don't actually know if I'm still at this point. Oh no, okay. There was a long point in time when my follower count was just, it got to 600 and it just flatlined from there. And I don't care about follower count or any, you know, I try not to care about a lot of the different stats or whatever, but it was very funny when it was just, there was definitely just a moment when just like it got to 600 and like, you know, every time I'd get like an email or a notification of someone new had followed or something, somebody else would have just unfollowed at some point, or you know, an old account would be deactivated or whatever. So it would just teeter around the 600 for ages, and it's still pretty much there. It's a, you know, it's a little over it, but yeah, you know, 48 followers. I also probably lost like 30. not bitter, not sad about it. This is whatever, how it goes. I've been here for strangely enough a long time. Where is it? Can you even see that? Yeah. Where do I gotta go? There you go. That's an 8. That's an 8 for 8 years on Twitch. 8 years on Twitch, baby. I don't even know how long Twitch has been around at this point, but I'm pretty sure we've reached like the point where I have now been on the site for more than half of its lifespan, and that doesn't sound correct. That's like, no, I don't like that. I don't like the idea that I've been on Twitch for longer than, you know, half of its lifespan. Oh well. Chat sent almost 6,000. God damn, almost 6,000 messages. That's wild. A lot. There was one that this didn't turn up on like the nice downloadable PNG that they gave you, but unlike the actual like recap, there's a bit where it said like categories 5, and I don't know what the fuck they meant by that. Like I'd see that on other people's who had like, you know, downloaded downloaded the whole thing, and it would just say categories 5. What does it mean categories 5? Like as in like the categories are what they call like the games. It was like, I've definitely streamed more than 5 games, if that's what you mean. I've definitely streamed more than 5 different categories. But maybe they mean like, you know, maybe that's like the overall thing, you know, there's like, oh, all the games come under games, and then just chatting comes under something else, and then like music comes under something else. But then I definitely haven't done 5 of those. Like, as I said, like those ones, I've done a game, I've done just chatting, and I did like a couple of music streams this year. That's about it. I was like, that doesn't hit 5. But anyway, my top categories: Sims 2. People like Sims 2. I'm glad people like the Sims 2. The Sims 2 streams. Those were a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun with those, and I got quite a bit out of it. This song is so fucking long. It was like all the other ones have gone for like 2 or 3 minutes. And then you get 7 minutes of a fucking Xenoblade Chronicles song. And it's like, oh, I'm anything against Xenoblade Chronicles. Fuck me, 7 minutes of just So, alright, fucking wrap it up, Nintendo Calm playlist. Fuck me, dude. Move on to the next song already. They're still going, like, fuck me. Anyway, I'm glad people like The Sims. I had a lot of fun with Sims. I'd like to do, I guess, season 2 at some point. I'd like to do more Sims. I don't know if I'd return to Sims 2 and do, as I said, season 2 of. I don't fucking remember what I called my guy in the Sims. I don't remember what his name was. What I feel it was called, like I called him like Bob something. I don't know. But it might also just be fun to do a different Sims game, you know, to do, you know, start from fresh with a new freak in a different game, maybe. Here we go. Now that's what I'm talking about, baby. Yes. Pikmin 4, people like Pikmin 4, that's nice, that's good. I like Pikmin 4, it's a very good game. I don't like... That's not that. What am I... I pressed the wrong button as well, I pressed the Windows key. So yeah, people like... I was about to say Sims 4. I didn't stream Sims 4. But people like Pikmin 4, that was good. Top 10% for 2 of these, and like, it's weird, I saw someone else's, and they were like, you know, top 10% of like Tears of the Kingdom, and you know, they were saying like, I'm not sure that's correct, and then somebody in their like replies was like going, oh, I think it means this, and I don't remember what they meant, but then yeah, but like, so it's like, oh, I don't think it was on, you know, it seemed like, I don't think it was under the impression that like they were like the top, you know, when it says like top 10%, it doesn't mean like you're in the top 10% of people who streamed it. But then I look at these and goes, no, I kind of believe, like, I absolutely believe I was in the top 10% of people who streamed Harvest Moon Winds of Anthos. Like, I'm not entirely sure I would have believed Sims 2 if you just put that there. And if it said Pikmin 4, I definitely wouldn't have believed that. But Harvest Moon, I'm like, no, I'm the top 1% of people who streamed that because fucking nobody did. I don't know if nobody did, but you know, it's the modern day Natsume Harvest Moon game. I think me and like 3 other people stream it. But yeah, the funny thing is, actually, I can guarantee you if was it 20? Yeah, it would have been 2021, I think. I don't know where that recap's gone, but there was a recap from 2021 where it was like most popular streamed games, and it was like 2 Zelda games and 2 Harvest Moon games. It was like Breath of the Wild, Age of Calamity, and then the Story of Seasons Friends of Middletown remake. No, it was it wasn't the Friends of Middletown remake. It was Pioneers of Olive Town, and then Harvest Moon One World. I don't remember what the 5th game was. It might have been Tulip if I played that in 2020, or 2021 rather. I don't remember if that might have been last year. I'm not sure. I might be remembering that. It might not have been Age of Calamity. I don't know. But my point is it's 2021. I'm pretty sure there are 2 Zelda games and 2 like Harvest Moon games in my top 5 like categories, and it was just like, so my tweet was just like, thanks everybody who came to watch me play Harvest Moon and Zelda and nothing else. You know, I think if I had streamed Tears of the Kingdom, you know, one of these would be. You know, well, actually, I'd say one of these, but then presumably Harvest Moon wouldn't have made the cut. But you know, this is another Zelda song, isn't it? Yeah, Gerudo Town. But yeah. But I don't know, you know. But Sims 2 did well. Maybe that's my calling. That's my new. That's got to be the new bread and butter. My new foundation is, you know, Sims content. And then of course, oh, this is the real category winners of the year. This is the real shit, the real stuff people care about. The most popular emotes. You know, I don't know if these are the usual suspects, but they are to me. They are the usual suspects to me. Actually, all my top emotes last year were like default ones, except one of them. I don't know whose emote that is, but. It's like a Pepe with Dampe dancing, I think. So, you know, people used my emotes this year. People used my emotes. I think this is the wording and the categorizing of it changed, but, you know, one of the most popular emotes is my face, because that's just correct. It is the best emote. And then yeah, and then the Oob, yeah, and then the Oob brace. That's a good one. I like that one. I'm glad I managed to get an what's it called? An emote from that Tingle game, because that game was great. That was a sick game. It's very silly. Glad I managed to get even that. Like, yeah, go ahead and translate well into a little animated GIF emote. To be honest, I wasn't sure if it would, because it's a bit more. I don't know, bit more happening. No, not happening. You can tell what's happening, but that's what I mean. Anyway, get rid of this. We've recapped my Twitch. As I'm at my doctor's. Yeah, we've recapped my Twitch. Okay, can we move on to the next bit that I'm here for? Move on to the next section of the checkup. So next up on the checkup is the games of 2023. My 23 games for 2023. It's time for my 23 games of 2023. Because I played 23 games in 2023. I wanted to change this. I want it to be A+. It's exactly the same, but now it's called A+, because fuck S tier. It's about A+, baby. It's about having that grading system. So we're going to go in order of what I played, so you can't see it, but first up is Pokemon Scarlet. Now, a reoccurring thing that happens on these catch-up streams is I just forget about the games that I played at the beginning of the year. Yeah, and that will happen. But a lot of the games that I played at the beginning of the year, I would just be like, I think I enjoyed it, but I don't really remember anything about it. And that's not to say that's not the case for Pokemon Scarlet. Because I do remember it. And I remember it being fine. It was good. It was hot take alert. Hot takes. I think the Pokemon games are fine. Like, I get that people have problems with them, and there definitely are things that could be better, and they don't need to be like these yearly releases that like are crunched to all hell to get them out on time. But I don't know. Unfortunately, for other people, I guess, and not for me, I think the end result is fine. The end result is good. It's good. I have had fun with them. I genuinely think, for the most part, I'd say, I'm trying to think. I think possibly, depending on when some of them come out, I'm trying to remember the order of releasing. But I'd say for the most part, I've since it came to like home consoles, since like the Pokemon series moved to the Switch, I'd say like I've enjoyed each game more than the last. As I said, for the most part, because I can't exactly remember. I can't remember the actual like release order, so I'm sure there's like, I don't know. You really enjoyed like Pokemon Let's Go more than like Sword or something, and I don't know. Like I don't know if I think Let's Go came out after Sword, but I think I played it after Sword. Or I think I played Sword after. I don't know, but for the most part. So yeah, I enjoyed Scarlet. I liked it being open world. I think admittedly, like, a part of me is I like avoiding battles in Pokemon games. So I liked that was very much just a thing you could do in Pokemon Scarlet. Was I could just run past everyone. I like doing that. And that's obviously not how you should play the game. Like, hang on, you like running. This is like you play a beat 'em up, but you just run past every enemy. It's like, yes, that's exactly how I like to play Pokemon games. I'm weird. But yeah, I thought it was good. I liked the openness to it. I liked that you could go to any of the areas, and if the area was too tough, you just got your shit kicked in, and you just had to go, okay, I've got to go somewhere else now. I'm gonna go to somewhere that didn't kick my shit in. And then and then I liked it, because that meant, like, if you went to somewhere that was a bit higher level than you actually were, and you still came out on top, it felt extremely rewarding and extremely gratifying. Admittedly, it does mean that sometimes you go back to places like, oh, this is like, the first place you should go. I've come here after doing like 5 other things. So I'm, curb stomping this gym leader or whatever with their like level 3 Pokemon. But, oh well, I don't know, that's how it goes, I guess. So yeah, as I said, it wasn't, you know, I'm not gonna say it was like perfect or anything, but I did think it was really good. And I did like it. I did like it. So this would be like a B plus, A minus, but we'll say it's a B plus. As a good B plus. Up next we had Zoombinis, and I didn't finish Zoombinis. I was so confident that I would. I was like, I'm gonna be the first person to ever finish, like, fully complete Zoombinis. But I still don't believe anyone's done it. Like, you know, you're telling me someone's rescued like all 625 or whatever it is Zoombinis? No way, man. No way. No one's done that. Because I've tried it now. I've gone through like the task of trying to do that, and at a certain point, you know, your will breaks. You just go, I can't do this, man. There's too many of them. I'm doing the same thing too much. You know, maybe one day I'll return and get the rest of them. The problem is honestly, also the problem I think is that the streams would just become like a, yeah. Look, at some point the games do actually become difficult, so you are just sitting there actually having to focus on doing the same fucking mini games over and over and over again. So, you know, sometimes it's late Zoombini streams would feel like I'd just be turning to chat and go, talk amongst yourself, I'm working on like my fucking puzzles. Yeah. Like, entertain yourselves for a bit, I'm doing fucking logic puzzles instead of streaming. But the game itself is good. I mean, it's a weird one to put in a list because it's a children's education game. It's an edutainment game from the fucking 90s, like. And you know, how do you compare this to anything else? You know, but you know, it's a good. You know, I don't know if it's a good engine. That's the weird thing. Like, it's been so ingrained into my brain. Like, you know, I know I played it as a kid, like, you know, on the school PCs as well. But like, I don't know how useful it was for, like, you know, developing logic in my brain. Like, I like to think I have logic and I know logic and I, you know, can work things out logically and mathematically like the game intends me to. But I don't know how good it was in terms of developing that skill. I know I have it now, or I'm fairly confident I have it now. I don't know how useful Zoombinis was at, like, you know, over, say, you know, the education system. So, you know. Who's to truly say whether or not this is a good game or not? Well, you know, I'll put it that we'll put it as a flat B for Zoombinis. No, because as I said, like, you know, there's 620 something fucking Zoombinis. You gotta do like, you gotta get like what, 16 I think it was Zoombinis. You gotta do like stupid like 82 or something, like round trips of like the same 4, 7, like 6 or something mini games. It's like too many. You got, you know, you want to actually complete this game, there's too much. But you know, for what it's worth, you know, for what you know, at the beginning of it, there's, you know, there's at least a couple of streams worth of entertainment out of it. After a certain point, it's like you're just torturing yourself, doing the same stuff over and over again. Up next, we've got Legend of Zelda: Link's Awakening, the HD version for the Switch. Now, I will be completely honest, this is one of the ones I was like, this is very good. I don't remember anything about it. I was like, I remember it was good, but I also remember, I'm sure I had some problems with it. But I genuinely don't, I remember so little about it. Which you'd say maybe isn't a good sign. But, I don't know. Like, there definitely was, I think, a game in 2020 that it was Piku Niku, that I put in like C tier or something, just because, like, I'm sure I enjoyed it, but I have no memory of anything in it. And this is very much how I feel about Link's Awakening HD. It's like, I'm sure I enjoyed it, but in a way, I don't think it's made a lasting impression. It's you know, it was a very much like I enjoyed that. gone for the rest of time, you know? I was like, yeah, I sure did play it. You know, at the time, it's like, I enjoyed it. And in memory, it's like, I think I enjoyed it. I'm pretty sure I remember enjoying it, you know? Well, there was like, I'm sure there wouldn't, you know, parts that I really didn't like, and parts that I kind of got stuck at, and parts that I thought were irritating. I don't remember which parts they were, and it's just like, I don't remember much else about it. I don't know, it's one of those, I don't really have like a specific memory of like, oh, I really liked this bit. It's just like, I think I just generally enjoyed it. So I don't know, we'll call that another B. Trust me, I'm gonna put other things in categories, you know, they're not every, I'm just gonna, it's so fun to put everything in order of what I played in B, and go, they're all Bs, everything I played this year was a B. Fuck you. No, but I'm not entirely sure Wario Land 3 is gonna change this. Because I did like Wario Land 3, and there were things that I thought it was trying to do that was very interesting. It was I don't know if Metroidvania is the word. I want to say it was a bit Metroidvania-y, but I might be completely misremembering it. Or no, Metroidvania, maybe it was roguelite-y, I don't know. It was something, it was interesting. It wasn't just a straight like, this is a platformer, you know, go from left to right sort of thing. What song is it? A fucking calm playlist. What is this? Oh, well, okay, the song's called Serenity. It's from Fire Emblem. Skip you. Skip you to a Pikmin song that's up next. Fuck you, Fire Emblem! Yeah, Wario Land 3. It did some interesting thing. Yeah, we'll zoom in a bit. Maybe not that much. This much. Wario Land 3, yeah, it did things. It was a very unique platformer, honestly. It did things a lot differently than you would typically expect a platformer to do. And I think sometimes I'd say a good chunk of the time, that worked out. There was also a good chunk of the time it did not work out. Like, it was like, oh, this game doesn't have death mechanics. There's no lives, which is like, oh, a game from, I don't know, this would have been, I don't know if this was Game Boy or Game Boy Color. It might have been, I want to say it was Game Boy Color, but I might be wrong. But, you know, Game Boy Color era game, that's like, oh, that's actually pretty, like, you know, ahead of its time to not have a life system. Unfortunately, it just means, like, their way of punishing you in that game is ball-achingly annoying. It really, like, there's just so many times when it's just like, okay, so instead of just dying, you now just go back, like, 3 screens and you wait while Wario just goes, as he, like, flies off 3 different fucking screens. And then you have to do the whole section again. It's like the same result as dying, but it's somehow more annoying at times. So, yeah, then there's also just, I feel like I remember there wasn't a great way of telling, like, what you have and haven't got from certain levels, or like what has and hasn't been opened. Like, I think I liked that aspect at times when it's like, you know, you'd complete one level and get like a thing. Like, each level was like, oh, you'd get a treasure at the end of the level. And then, like, sometimes that treasure would be used to, like, open up a different level, or, you know, a different area in another level. But a lot of the times, they just kind of didn't do a great job on telling you when certain, like, I don't know, or at least if you come back, like, if, you know, if this thing, like, opened, like, different areas and, like, multiple levels, after you've done one level, it would then just go, oh, I hope you remembered what opened up in the other levels, and it'd be like, no, I didn't, and it'd just go, oh well. But, yeah, it's interesting. It was, you know, a very unique platformer, and, You know what? I'm gonna change my mind on something. This is better than beanies. Generally memorable, you know, a fine experience, but they're both Bs. Like, I'd say there's a cutoff of, like, you can't see my cursor, but there's a cutoff between Scarlet and Zelda, of where, you know, B plus becomes B, I think. I think I'm gonna put Wario Land 3 there. I think, again, generally a pleasant experience, I think, but it definitely had a few aches and pains. They, you know, then when coming to do Wario Land 4, they just went, fuck it, go back to, you know, we'll make a normal game, or, you know, normal for, like, Wario Land, like, you know, Wario Land, I can't think of the word, yeah. In the Wario Land sense, normal for Wario Land. But, you know, it's still weird because it's Wario Land. Up next, we got Professor Layton and the Last Spectre, or the Spectre's Call. I feel like every time I stream a Professor Layton game now, when it comes to the end of the year, I'm always just like, I can never remember like how much about the, you know, all that much about the game, but I remember they're really good. Like, I do just remember, like, it's one of those ones where it's like, man, I struggle to rank my favorite Professor Layton games, because I do just generally remember them as they're just very good games, you know? Like, I think it would end up going based on, like, which game story I preferred more. And, oh no, spoilers for the, original series. Like, the original trilogy of Professor Layton. But, I mean, this one gets bonus props for not being... for not having a big reveal of, by the way, the whole town was fake Lamau. Like, after doing that for 3 fucking games in a row, I'm happy that that wasn't the fucking twist. Or, like, the explanation in this game was just everything was fake again. Ha ha he he, fuck you. But yeah, no, I enjoyed this one. And again, it's more Professor Layton, it's very good. I do feel like as the series has gone on, I found myself weirdly enough engaging with it less. Like, in the first one, I wouldn't necessarily say I did every single puzzle, but I definitely did more puzzles than I think, you know, then like when you get to like the requirements where they get past, you know, to continue with the story, you need to have done this many puzzles or whatever. In like the first few games, I cleared those with like no problem. But like in the more recent ones I've played, that, you know, there have been times when I've had to go, oh, okay, I've got to go find more puzzles to do now. And I don't know if that's just because either they hide them better, or I'm just interacting with less things, or I don't know. But I don't know. It's something to think about. I don't. So, ooh, an A or an A plus? That's the question. That is the question. That's the big question. I mean, I gotta put an A plus because I can't think of anything that it did terribly wrong. You know, it's more Professor Layton. Like, it did it well. You know, it's more Professor Layton and it's good. So now we got The Sims 2. This is another one with, you know, a weird one that sort of, it feels like almost like the Zoombinies in a way, where part of it is, you know, it's very ingrained in my nostalgia as well, I guess. But I think it's also just because those are two of the games that I didn't finish this year. So, you know, they're on the same sort of like, can I really judge it if I didn't finish it? But then it's like, well, Zoombinies is like, well, that's because when I was trying to finish it, I was trying to save every Zoombini. And that's like a fucking Herculean task. Sims 2, there isn't a fucking ending. Of course you can't finish it. You know, I came to a conclusion, I guess, of like, you know, the story that I was playing out. But yeah, it was very fun. It's weird revisiting older Sims games because I've played like a bit of The Sims 4. It's been a while since I've played Sims 3. and it's one of those funny things where you can definitely tell like where the step up from Sims 2 to Sims 3 is. And there's, and then even just playing Sims 4, it's like, no, there's definitely like, there was weirdly enough a step down for some reason. They definitely just like just went, let's, you know, rein it back in a little bit for Sims 4. And then for some reason, there's, you know, I think I know some of the reasons at least, but but yeah, Sims 2 is one of those interesting things because it's, you know, there's definitely weird shit you can do, and there's, you know, like there's still like, I say base game. I mean base game with like all the fucking expansions, everything that's like, you know, non-modded, like all vanilla content. I guess there's like a good chunk of stuff that you can do that's like, you know, to create, to have, you know, have an interesting like narrative, and like, you know, things play out. You know, I don't remember my character's name, but he was like, you know, I created some, you know, weird Waluigi-esque character, and then he just seemed to accidentally have the most fucking riz in the world ever, and he sort of ended up being like, you know, his lifetime goal or something was to like, I think it was date 50 different people or go on 50 dates, or it was something like that. I don't know. And I don't remember what it was, but at some point I had just made him so happy. I had like, you know, I had like rizzed up so many women successful that he just went, I don't even need to accomplish my like lifetime goal. I'm happy for life anyway now. So I don't know. It was very fun playthrough. And interesting, and I think it was even the first stream of it where like he got fucking burgled, and then like for the rest of the all the like 7 streams of it, I was like trying to figure out a way that I could like kill this one guy without downloading mods. In the end, I unfortunately did just have to download mods. That's like the one thing I wish, you know, Sims is like, I know like they probably don't want this, but like you can like intentionally kill someone as like, you know, God, as the player, but you can't like, you know, get one person to kill another person. And you know, that's a little lame. That's, you know, come on, Sim, it's time to add murder into the thing, you know, like. Like, oh, well, you know, I want my Sim to take like revenge on the people who have wronged him, not just, you know, not just wait for, you know, for me as God to do it. I want my Sims to take matters into their own hands. But no, yeah, you have to install mods for that. In general, I don't think I had any problems with it. Like, especially considering it's such an old game. I think there's some parts of the UI kind of, you know, are a bit shit nowadays, even if you install UI fixing mods. What the fuck is this song? I did nothing. This is this? No, that was a Splatoon 2 song. I couldn't, it was like start to switch. I'm feeling like a lobby song or something like that. I don't know. But yeah, for the most part, I don't think I had many problems with it. It might have crashed like a couple times. I don't really remembering it. I don't remember it doing that, but there's a possibility. I don't know. But yeah, considering it's a very old game, it ran quite well. Actually. As I said, I'm sure if you were to compare it to modern Sims games or any of the games that would come after, you know, there's clearly like fewer things that you could do, but you know, for when it was pretty damn good, and I think it's still a fun game today. Advance Wars 2 Black Ops Rising. Now this one I specifically played the remake of this one, from the Advance Wars 1 and 2 reboot camp. And I had a lot of fun with this. I didn't beat it. I really struggled with the final mission. It's very I don't know if weird's the right word, but I don't even know if it was just if it was just like a difficulty spike, but it was like one thing of just like, you know, the last missions were definitely like tough, but like I know what I was doing. I know how to like pull out and, you know, get ahead of the game and, you know, figure things out. I just couldn't do that with the final. I mean, the final mission just kind of like I don't know, it fried my brain. And so there's, you know, there's a slight, I don't know, permanent kind of negative mark on it for that. Like, you know, slightly like, ooh, kind of ended on a sour note. You know, so it always feels like it might, you know, it feels like it's being downgraded because of that. But for the most part, I really enjoyed this game. It was a lot of fun. I think the story is a lot better than Advance Wars 1, and I think I like how it goes, and, you know, you get, you know, there's more playable characters, more different factions that you can play as, and you can, you know, they all have like different play styles. There are just some characters which are just like beyond certain missions are so fucking pointless. I want to say I think it's Sonya. Well, like, if you're not in a Fog of War mission, it really is just like, you fucking suck. Your whole thing is Fog of War. So if this mission doesn't have Fog of War, you can get the fuck out of here. You're pointless. But yeah, yeah, no, that was a really fun game, and it was all very, and it's just generally on the reboot camp as well. It was very well done, I think. Ooh, nice voice crack. It's very well done. I know people were very 50-50. It seems very split on the art style. I thought it was fine. I didn't mind it at all. I think it looked good. I probably would say that I think I prefer the style of the original, but I don't know. It wasn't like a losing point for me. It wasn't like a, no, this has ruined the game. It's like, fucking, you know, it's a tactics war game. It doesn't fucking matter. But yeah, no, Advance Wars 2 Black Hole Rising was very good. I do also like that you could just do all the fucking missions from the word go. I replayed Advance Wars 1 offline at the same time. And it's funny how, like, Advance Wars 1, if you want to do everything, you have to play through the story at least a couple of times to do like bonus missions and stuff like that, and that's kind of like, no, I wasn't really a fan of it when I played Advance Wars 1 last year. I want to say it might have been the year before, and I wasn't really a fan of it replaying the reboot, the remake this year. So Advance Wars 2 is much better in that sense, in that it just goes, here's your missions, fucking do them. You know, instead it just gives you, here's like the 4 missions for this like section, this like, you know, factions section of the campaign. Do them and then move on, and you just go, okay, I will. So, you know, I give that an A. I think it's probably more an A- because it dips off at the end a bit. It gets a bit too ridiculous. But it was good. Yoshi's Island. Oh god. Okay. This is the one that, like, I think if, you know, if I tweeted out this opinion, somebody would find me and they'd like assassinate me, because I really just did not click with this game at all. It's one of these weird cases of, like, I don't necessarily think it's a bad game, but my brain could like, I just did not click with it, and I did not groove with it. I did not gel with it. All these words and more. I just couldn't get into it. I tried, but the 2 stream, like, I don't know if it was just because I was in a different headspace when I was streaming it, and that's affected how I felt about the game itself. But both streams, like, I just couldn't. I don't think I did full stream any, like, I streamed it twice, and I don't think either of those streams were full streams, were full 4-hour streams, because I just couldn't do it. I just was not feeling it. I don't know. So, you know, I'm going to put this as like a, oh, I'm trying to grab the wrong thing. I'll put this as a C-. Like, I don't want to put it in D, but I really didn't Really didn't groove with that game at all. And as I said, like, if you were like, but it's a good game, I'd be like, you know what? Yeah, it probably is a good game, but I can't find it. That sounds bad. You know, I don't know. It's not for me, we'll say, somehow. Here we got another classic. Fucking hell, we're playing all. I played so many classic PC games from my childhood this year. I played Zoombinis, I played Sims 2, I played Lego Island. I don't know what other classic PC. You want game? I will fucking absolutely play this in 2024. I've had this on my list of games to play for so long. Runts. That is another classic PC game, and no one has fucking heard of that one. That is a mystery. That is that is certified 0 views on the archive channel. But it's such a good, I remember it being such a good game. I'll play it and I'll fucking hate it. But no, Lego Island, another PC classic, another PC childhood nostalgic classic. You'd love to see it. It's wonderful. And no, yeah, genuinely, Lego Island really holds up. There's definitely like you hit the one. There's not a whole lot to do in it past a certain point. Like it's kind of supposed to be this like sandbox, toy box of things, I guess. But it very much hits that point of like, you know, once you've done each mini game once, and then you've done the whole Brickster sequence, that's about it. So you only, you know, it's only really like a couple of hours of entertainment. But it's very charming entertainment, and you know, it's very fun, very cool. And I was gonna say, I'm pretty sure that actually worked kind of well. Once I don't remember how I did it. So probably through Virtual Machine. I think I got that working all right as well. Yeah, that's pretty good. I'm gonna put that roughly in the same area as Zoombinis. I think, yeah. The funny thing is, actually, both of these can be replayed quite a bit. Like in terms of like, if you just did like, you know, the regular amount of stuff that it gives you, you'd probably get like the same amount of like content out of it. But you can, you know, in the same way you can replay the Zoombinis levels to, you know, get another set of Zoombinis off to Zoombiniville. You have the whole fucking like score cube thing in Lego Island, but that's literally just complete every mini game with every character, and it's a bit, you know, once you've done the jet ski race, you've done it. You know, once you've done it once, you've done it like pretty much as every character. It doesn't change for a different character. It's just, you know, do it four. I want to say 4 more times. You know. Well. Yeah. So yeah, it loses a few points for being short, not having a whole lot. Once you've like done the amount of content it has, that's it. But it's a good amount, you know, it's, you know, the content that's there is good, and it is very charming. Now this absolutely, you thought you were gonna lampoon me for my Yoshi's Island take. I am gonna get lampooned for this. This is a, you know, exiled from the Harvest Moon community. You know, this is put me in the stocks and throw tomatoes at me. This is we don't talk about that guy anymore. You know, he's, you know, what did he do? You said the Story of Season's Wonderful Life remake wasn't that good. Uh-oh. Yes, I did say it. Yeah, again, I think this was again, it's just I didn't gel with this game. I played this game offline as well. Like I did a couple streams of this, and then at the end of like, the second stream, I went, oh, I'm gonna play this offline, and then, you know, around the time I'll get to like, you know, middle of winter, so that you can see like the end of the year sequence where like your character gets married, and we can do like the start of chapter 2. And then I got to about midway through fall, and I think my game crashed, and I lost like a couple of days of progress, which isn't like a whole lot. But at that point, I just went, fuck it, I can't be asked to pick it back up. Like, I was getting a lot of use out of it on like playing on the Steam Deck, but like Truthfully, I was getting a lot out of it because I was using it as just a vehicle to listen to albums. like I would just get my record player out and just put on a record, and then that would just be something that I could just zone out to while listening to Genesis or something. You know, my fondest memories of playing Story of Seasons Wonderful Life is I listened to Selling England by the Pound for the first time, and I was like, damn, this album is fucking sick. This is a great album. Or like re-listening to Pet Sounds by the Beach Boys, another great album. So like my most positive memories of playing this game were listening to different albums that I was listening to instead of playing the game. Like, that's not a good thing if my most fond memory of playing the game was like, well, it got me, it gave me the opportunity to, listen to a few albums that I hadn't listened to in a while or hadn't listened to yet. It got me to dig out some of my vinyl collection and, actually get around to ripping them and listening to them. I just really did not care for this game at all. And I think, to be clear as well, the thing I will say is I don't think this is the problem of the remake, in that what I mean by that is I think if I played the original GameCube version or even the PS2 version, I'd have exactly the same problems. Like, the remake, it's more the remake doesn't fix this, and this is it's just tough for me to say because Wonderful Life was my first Harvest Moon. Wonderful Life was my childhood Harvest Moon. Yeah, that was like the only game I actually played like as a kid. I think I was probably a teenager by the time I like actually got into the series. Outside, like I had this one, and then I got into I actually got into the series as itself. Like around the time, I want to say it was either Tale of Two Towns and New Beginning. I want to say New Beginning, but I might be wrong on that. So, I want to say that was about 2012, 2013, for its release in Europe, I think. So, but I still had this one, like, as a kid. And I remember enjoying it, but I also remember I never got far into it. And I guess that's the same thing, like, I never got far into this one, because, and this is, I will accept that this is a personal thing. I never clicked well with the Harvest Moons that don't give you things to do. I always need my Harvest Moon or my farming sim or whatever. I need to give me a goal. I need it to tell me to do something. Hey, you need to do this thing to fix up the town, or to rescue the harvest goddess, or to do this. And I'll be like, you got it. I can do that, and I'll be on my way. And it'll be sick. But when it is like a Friends of Mineral Town or a Wonderful Life, it goes, hey man, make your own fun. Just go ahead and play the game and, just do whatever. No, you have to tell me what to do, game. You have to give me objectives. You have to give me quests. You have to give me tasks and stuff to do. I can't make my own fun in a farming sim. You have to tell me what to do. So I'll accept that that's a me problem. I will say what I think is just an actual problem is Story of Seasons Wonderful Life is painfully slow. Everything is extremely slowly paced. Everything feels like it takes ages to do, ages to get through anything. It is so slow. Yeah, I really didn't click with this game at all. And I think in the way where like Yoshi's Island, I can at least accept that I think it is a good game. I just didn't get it. It just wasn't my cup of tea. Story of Seasons Wonderful Life, I really don't actually think is good. I really didn't actually didn't like it. Not just, I just didn't click with it. It's just, I didn't like it. So I'm sorry, Story of Seasons Wonderful Life, but you're going in the D tier. Sludge Life 2. Oh, what song is this? It's like, is this one? This All-Star Rest Area from Super Smash Bros. Melee. That's good. I feel like I've heard it from something else. Like, I recognize it, but my brain goes like, I wouldn't have recognized this from Smash Bros. I feel like, but oh well. Anyway, Sludge Life 2. So Sludge Life 1, was a surprise hit last year, or a surprise hit for me. I think it came out a couple years ago now, maybe. But it was a game that I just randomly saw on like maybe my Steam queue or something. And I thought, hey, that looks weird and neat. Let's get that. You know, I don't know what this game is about, but let's see what it's about. And then I played it and I loved it. It was so weird. It was so silly. It was so charming. And Sludge Life 2 definitely still has that charm. But I think it has one of those problems of like, it's too much of a sequel, I guess, if that's, I don't know, a good way of wording it, in that like, it very much it feels like more of Sludge Life 1, and because of that, it's like, you know, Sludge Life 1, it kind of feels like a better game because you did that one first, you know, I came across Sludge Life 1 first and played that one first, so it's like, oh, okay, you know. The impact is lost a little bit, you know, when it just kind of does more of the same. It's like, oh, this is still pretty good, but you know, the first one ended up feeling more unique. So Sludge Life 2 is a very good game, and I think it is like, if you enjoyed Sludge Life 1, then I do think you should play Sludge Life 2 because it is good. But yeah, as I said, it feels a bit too, I want to say reiterative, but I don't know if that is the word I'm looking for, or a word at all. Calm music. This is the most cracked out, like, it's not like the worst calm playlist ever, but this is like chill and calm Nintendo music for calm stuff and relax. And it's like, yeah, you put this on, Fire Emblems. I'm sure the Fire Emblem have like, you know, chill stuff in, but I'm not entirely sure this is one of them. Oh, this person just really likes Fire Emblem, I think. Yeah, and the fucking like thing of like saying what it is, they put like a little smiley face. They put like little smiley faces next to like Fire Emblem, some of the Fire Emblem games. So like, I don't know. They've clearly, you know, this person clearly fucked with the Fire Emblem soundtrack. This isn't what you put in a calm or relaxing playlist. I can't imagine being calmed or relaxed by this. Again, no hate to Fire Emblem, or you know, the soundtrack. It's fine. You know, if this was like a, you know, if you were putting this in like an inspiring Nintendo playlist, something like that, I don't know, that would fit. But calm, relaxing, I'm not sure. Sorry, I'm getting distracted. Sludge Life 2. Yeah, as I said, it was good, but it felt a bit too... It felt like it was too much of a retread of the first one. So, still very good, nowhere near as impactful because of how much ground it retreads from the first game. Somewhere in B, I think. I'm gonna put it there. Okay. We're now, you know, if you thought the first part of the year was all like the B-tier games, and then there was like that little dip where I played Yoshi's Island and Story Seasons, you know, like, oh, yeah, that was, you know, he was a fucking salty asshole that month, where he just didn't like anything. We're about to enter like fucking sicko period, okay? Because this is where I don't know how, but I played banger after banger, starting with Before the Green Moon. This game, I will admit, I think there's a part of me that loved this game maybe a little bit more because I played it not long after I played Story Seasons Wonderful Life. And this game, in terms of like pacing, is the complete opposite. The Story of Seasons Wonderful Life was so slow, and so everything took so long, and it was so boring. Before the Green Moon is so quick and fast, and the day is over before you know it, and everything is just lightning. And I think that's, you know, that's part of it. I think it's just like, oh, I played a farming sim that was really slow, and I really didn't like how slowly it was paced. And then I played another farming sim that was just, you know, quickly paced. So I really liked that. and I liked it more than I think if I had just played this like not. If I didn't play this like, if I just played this like at any other point in the year, and instead of like just after Story of Seasons, I think I would have like, you know, I don't think I would have liked that aspect of it quite as much. But I will say, the game is also just fucking fantastic. This game, Before the Green Moon, is phenomenal. Genuinely, if you like farming sims, if you're into your Story of Seasons, your Harvest Moons, your Stardew Valleys, get Before the Green Moon. Play Before the Green Moon. It is absolutely fantastic. It is wonderful. I'm feeling like I'm fucking calling everybody's arms with this. This isn't calm. This is inspiring. You're rallying the troops to play this, you know, cozy farming sim. Genuinely, I loved this game. This was one of, I will, you know, spoilers for the rest of this list, but it was one of, maybe not the, but it was one of my favorite games I played this year. And this is one of the new games of this year. I think so far actually we've only gotten through a couple of new games. You know, my 2023 games, my new game. You know, the 10 new games that I played. We got through the 2 remakes, the Advance Wars and Wonderful Life remake. And then Sludge Life 2 came out this year as well. Before the Green Moon was another one of the new games that came out this year. And as I said, this is genuinely one of my favorite new releases this year. This was absolutely fantastic. This was wonderful. And the interesting thing about it is it's very like, I don't know, it doesn't do a lot of stuff that I think a lot of people would either want or expect a farming sim to do. Like, there's only a handful of characters. There's only maybe like 4 or 5 characters that you like actually interact with, instead of like a whole ass village. But because of that, I feel like they end up like exploring the relationships and creating the relationships between the player character and the few villages there are, or the few named villages there are. The friendships that like in the stories between the characters end up getting developed much stronger. I don't know, like there's, you know, I'm not gonna say like these other Story Seasons and Harvest Moon games don't have like interactions and stories between the characters. Oh, I'm like dropping things. I'm like fiddling with stuff. So I'm like, ooh, if I just start doing jerky motions, it's because I'm dropping something. But yeah. So obviously, you know, there's like character developments with, you know, characters in Story of Seasons and Harvest Moon games and stuff like that. But genuinely, I think the way Before the Green Moon does it was just really well. It actually made me care about these characters. One of the highest praises I will give it is, now, is this a Professor Layton song? Sorry, I'm gonna be distracted for a second because, oh, game with accordion. I bet it's a Professor Layton game. I think it's a Pokemon game, but it's a Smash. It's from Smash. I was like, it said Pokemon Black and White, but this definitely isn't like the DS sound chip. Like, the Smash 4 remix. Okay. Oh, damn, I was fooled. I heard accordion and I thought Professor Layton. Again, not a. I mean, it's Smash 4. It's literally to be like designed to be like battle music. This isn't like a chill, relaxed playlist. This sucks. No offense to the person who made it, but I think at some point you forgot the playlist you were making. Anyway, yeah. So the highest praise I can give Before the Green Moon is it genuinely moved me. You know, and yeah, it moved me. It touched my heart. And I don't know. I you know, I'm not one to say that like video games can't or shouldn't do that or anything like that. Absolutely they can, and sometimes they even should, but I think it's a rare occurrence. I think even if you really like a game, it might not move you, you know. Obviously I really liked Professor Layton and Last Spectre. I wouldn't say it moved me, you know. Some of my favorite games I've played in the last few years, things like Tulip or Tingle's Rosy Rupee Land, or even when I replayed Breath of the Wild, that was a favorite game from like that year that I played it. They didn't move me, I really liked them. I loved them even. They were my favorite games of their respective years, but they didn't move me. Before the Green Moon moved me, it touched me, it spoke to me, it hit me on an emotional level that I haven't had a game do, and I don't even know when. Like, I don't even know I wouldn't even be able to tell you the last time that a game, like, moved me emotionally, because I don't know, I guess it's just it's seemingly a rarity. And yeah, and that was in part due to how the relationships between the characters grew out, and they do that with like 4, as I said, 4 maybe 5 like named characters. A fraction of the amount of characters that other farming sims, especially mainstream farming sims, will give you. And yeah, so and also the farming was just fun. It's very interesting because, like, again, it's funny enough, this isn't really a game that gives you like a bunch of tasks or like requests like other ones will. I don't know, I guess similar to Story of Seasons, but they didn't really do that for a whole lot either. Before the Green Moon essentially gives you one task: get to the moon. Like, make enough money to buy a ticket to the moon. It's such a simple task that, like, I don't know, it becomes I won't say impelling. Again, I don't know if that's the word or even a word. Compelling, I think, maybe. It becomes compelling, not impelling. It becomes compelling. It's very compelling, and the way that, like, you as a player, like, as you develop the relationships with the other characters in the game, have that idea of just the task of buying the ticket to the moon changes, and how your perspective on that will shift. It's interesting, and I also think there are themes about there's things it says about the idea of, like, building relationships over working and being a sort of cog in the machine, and the promise of a better life, but but not like actually a better life, the promise of a better life from, like, those higher up. I think there's some interesting themes that it delves into, and yeah, genuinely one of the best games I've played this year. I can't recommend this game enough, especially if you love farming sims. If you love farming sims, even if you like farming sims, do yourself a favor and play Before the Green Moon, because I want to promise you won't regret it. It is a fantastic game. It's a brilliant game. Wonderful. Now, something a little bit different, I guess. Pikmin 4. Pikmin 4 is just great. Like, it's a completely different level. Like, Pikmin 4 has a shit ton of content that is just fun. It did in no way, shape, or form move me. Like, I was not moved by Pikmin 4 on any emotional level. But I enjoyed it. But, that's, again, it's just Before the Green Moon is on a different level. But Pikmin 4 was a lot of fun. It was the whole ass wait after, the last Pikmin game, after Pikmin 3. But I outplayed the system by playing Pikmin 1 in 2020, and then Pikmin 2 in 2021, and then Pikmin 3 in 2022. So Pikmin 4 came out this year, and I've just been on a nice yearly Pikmin breeze. So I look forward to Pikmin 5 coming out next year. Please, and thank you. No, yeah, Pikmin 4 is really good. It really is just an expansion of, like, in the same way that kind of if Pikmin 3 is very much like if Pikmin 1 was fleshed out a lot more. Pikmin 4 is very much if Pikmin 2 was fleshed out a lot more. And I think it definitely fixes some of the things I didn't like too much about Pikmin 2. Like, I do like Pikmin 2, but I never fully gelled with the cave system, and I'm not gonna say that like I fully gelled with the cave system in this game either, but I think I at least appreciated it not being procedurally generated and instead it being more precise and more planned, and the caves being, you know, more sort of normal. And I liked the whole like Dandori battle stuff, you know, sort of incorporating things that, like the challenge mode that always felt like very ignored, pushed off to the side in previous Pikmin games, and the battle mode, which very much was like, I think there definitely was a battle mode in 3. I don't know if there were battle modes in the first 2 games, but even then it was very much like nobody does the fucking battle mode. So I think, you know, bringing that into the story was nice, because it you know, it brought focus to a lesser looked at area in the series and in the gameplay. As I think a lot of people have pointed out before me, it definitely has a problem with difficulty, in that, off the top of my head, aside from a few spots, the difficulty does not ramp up at all. Like, it jumps up in like the, I don't remember what, I want to say they were called like the Dandori trials, but like the ones like the 10 trials where you get the purple and white onions, like the difficulty jumps up there. It jumps up a bit in the final cave, like the final cave. And like the final boss. And I feel like there's a couple of other places where like there's like 1 or 2 bosses that like, if you don't know how to do correctly, will sort of push your shit in a little bit. But aside from that, there's no like, I don't know, as I said, there's no like, there just feels like there's a few moments of like, and then the game goes, whoa, ooh, difficult bit, instead of like building up and gradually getting more and more difficult. But I don't know, that's just me. But that's not like, I'm not gonna say that I think that was like the end of the end of the world sort of problem. That's not like a game ruining problem. You know, but yeah, again, I said this during my Pikmin 4 playthrough, that I always thought like with the other Pikmin games, it would, you know, I can't pick a favorite. They're like all my favorite for different reasons, you know, and Pikmin 4 just kind of adds to that. Like, it does things better than some of the other Pikmin games, and some of the other Pikmin games do other things better than this one. And yeah, and so, you know, it is a very good game. Good job, Pikmin 4, for being very good. Poa and the 5 Pirates was a neat little platform. Sort of, you know, just sort of running, you know, just a sort of nice little run through the platform. It's just a platformer, you know, action platformer, I guess. You know, you just run to the end of the level and you run, and it was good. It wasn't, you know, there wasn't a whole lot. There's not a whole lot of depth to it. It's a very short game. It won't take you more than a day to even 100% complete, honestly. Even with the more challenging levels, it won't take you that long to, you know, fully beat the game. But it is fun. You know, it's a neat enough game with, you know, if you're really into the speedrunning stuff and the speedrun side of it, then it's, you know, very replayable. And you don't have to be absolutely fucking crazy speedrunner to 100% complete it, so that's good, I guess. Yeah, I will say it feels a bit on the short side. Even if you do complete everything, it's still not a terribly long game. But so I don't know. It kind of feel because of that. I feel like it falls on that side of like get it if it's on sale. You know, if it's a bit cheaper, get it then. But you know, it's a solid fun platformer with nice aesthetics and visuals, and I remember the music being nice. I don't really remember too much about the music, but I remember it being pretty good. But yeah, for just a generally solid platformer, B+. Now, as I said, this is where we entered sicko mode. So, Koa was a little bit of a break. It's a pretty good game. It wasn't fantastic, but it was good enough. It's one of those games that it's solid. There's no like real depth in like quality, but it never hits too high. Now, Deathbold's Battle of the Bands. Oh boy, what an absolute fucking brilliant game. One of the most unique RPGs I've played ever. I guess like its battling system is so interesting and different to anything I've played. Maybe there are some other games that have done similar battle systems that I just haven't played enough RPGs to know. But to me, this was a very unique system, and yeah, and that was really interesting. And the game itself is funny as all fuck. I've been a fan of the Deathbold comics for a while. I backed this on Kickstarter, and it was absolutely worth it. Absolutely worth the however many years of wait. It was fantastic. It is hilarious. It was funny. All the humor from the comic, the style of humor is kept over and translates extremely well into the game. It is hilariously written. It is wonderfully drawn and animated, and the visuals aesthetic of it is brilliant. It is one charming as hell game. It is absolutely charming beyond all belief. Genuinely, it's wonderful. It's so funny. As I said, the battling mechanic is brilliantly unique and extremely engaging and fun. And you know what? I think to kind of go back to what I was saying with like Pikmin 4, where it kind of had that the game never really got aside from like a few spikes, it never really got more difficult or anything like that, or it never felt like it. It felt a bit easy. Battle of the Band, Deathbold Battle of the Bands has perfect difficulty, like not spike, but ramp. It it goes perfectly, and the final, if you do the final secret boss, is so like it's that right level of difficult that beating it was so fucking gratifying. Like the fights between the legends hit that absolutely sweet spot of like you will beat them when you are just on the cusp of like losing. So you will feel you'll feel like you've completely like last minute turned it around, won it out of nowhere in the best possible way. In like the victories against like the secret legend bosses are like so gratifying to win because they are just absolutely that like right level of like bonus difficulty of like this is a hidden boss, so it's like absolutely possible for when you come across them, but definitely tougher than what you've been going up against at that point. And as I said, the final hidden boss for this, again, wonderful, like absolutely just the right level of difficulty. It will take you a few tries, and you'll want to like experiment with different setups and stuff like that. But you will get it, and it will be one of the most gratifying things ever. Brilliant. And as I said, it's funny as fuck. Like if you like your games to be well written and very funny, this is one of them. This is, you know, the funny game of the year. It's tough to say which one I prefer over this and Before the Green Moon, because these these two are like battling out for my indie game of the year, really, because these are both two indie games that came out this year, and like they're two completely different. Like Before the Green Moon is so sincere and heartfelt and, you know, moving, and Deathball's Battle of the Bands is fucking funny. It's so funny. It's so hilariously written, and like just they're both charming but in completely different ways. Like, you know, if I were the Game Awards, I'd give the award to both of them and then tell them both to wrap it up at the same time, so they, you know, they'd be trying to talk over each other, and, you know, they'd be like, you know what, actually just shut the fuck up and leave, go away. We need to get on to Hideo Kojima's movie Simulator 10. So, you know, I'll put this here, but these are as good as each other. These are completely fantastic, brilliant in, you know, their own unique ways. They are completely different from each other. They are both my indie game and game of the year. Spoiler alert for the rest of the list. Nothing else is gonna top those, I'm sorry. Nope. That's fun. My headphones are fucking up. Anyway, so okay. Pico mode kind of ends there for a little bit. Refresh is next. This was another, again, this is the one that I don't actually know if this came out this year. Part of me feels like it may have. It might not have. I actually don't know. This was neat, is the word I'm going to use. This was a very short game, and it very much felt like part of me thinks it may have, I don't remember if it was, but part of me thinks it may have been a Game Jam game. I don't remember if it said it was in the credits or something, but that's what it at least feels like. It feels like a Game Jam game. It's like neat enough, and the game plays well, and the platforming is a kind of ish a 3D collectathon, and the platforming is fine and good even. The character controls well, and it's fun to move around in. There just isn't a lot to it. It's not a very long game at all. And if anything, like, that's the thing that brings it down the most, is just it's not a very long game. It's not a very long experience. It's like, you know, not even like, you know, I would say Koa. Koa, you can, you know, complete that in a day. If you've got a free day, you can buy that and complete it 100% in like the day. Refresh, you can maybe do in like 2 hours. Like, if you, like, maybe not complete it, but it will maybe only take you, like, that's an evening, that's an afternoon of a game. That's, you know, it's not a very long game, and so while it plays well, it very much feels more like a, I don't know, prototype's not the word I'm looking for, but I do think it works. It's a proof of concept, I think, is what I was looking for. It feels more like a proof of concept for a you know, a game to be like that, but, you know, if it were more fleshed out, that sort of thing. So, I'm so sad. The music makes it so sad. So I will have to put this in C tier. Yeah, you know, I'm gonna put it above Yoshi's Island because, on one hand, I did actually get through Refresh. Like, the game didn't put me off of it enough that I couldn't beat it. But there's just not a whole lot to it. It is just a very short experience. And, you know, if these devs do something like this in the future with, my earphones are playing up again. It's a great thing. If you still hear the music, like, because it goes through my desktop audio, the music still plays on stream, but now it's just like blaring out of my speakers. So I don't know how much of that bleeds into the mic. But anyway, yeah, I'm gonna put it above Yoshi's because like it was like it didn't put me off enough to not beat the game, but there just isn't enough content in it to call it higher than a C+, honestly. As I said, it's a good proof of concept. Now this next game is almost kind of another proof of concept, another game that again is kind of a little bit shackled down by its shortness, truthfully. Card Cowboy. But the difference is Refresh was like this is a fine enough game, but very short. Like Refresh is like, this is alright, this is fine, inoffensive, completely okay, bog standard, but very short. So it's like you've got better things to do with your time. Card Cowboy, for the short amount of time you can get out of it before it starts looping around on itself and you've seen all it really has to offer, is very funny and very entertaining. It is basically just a game of Mad Libs, and when you start realizing that and realizing like how like doing certain things won't actually like affect it too grandly. You can get like at least a couple of like playthroughs out of it before that point. But this was a very fun game, and again, it's something that I would like to see fleshed out more, on like a slightly bigger scale, because what it did and some of the moments that it gave me were so funny and so unexpected that like the first couple times you play, you can do like 2 playthroughs of this that you'll be like, this is hilarious, this is so funny, but about on your third you'll kind of notice like how it writes its stuff, how it like presents it and like what determines what, and then it kind of becomes a thing of like, it doesn't matter what you do because things in the same category will affect the same outcome. I feel like I should explain because I'm describing it in a very vague way, but I guess I'm describing it in the way that like if you've played the game you know what it is, or if you've seen my stream of it. But basically like it tells the story of like a cowboy looking for revenge. And you get like all these different cards that have different things on it, and you use these cards as like a sort of fill in the blank for prompts. So you'll go to a farm and the farmer will say like, hey, what are you doing around here? And you have a card and it's like, if you can give him like money, and then in return for money he'll give you a horse or something like that. Or you can do like an event and it'll be like, oh, you take the farmer out to the circus or something like that, and then sometimes it'll give you different cards in return. So there's all these bunch of different cards that create different scenarios. The problem is as I said, at its core it is essentially Mad Libs, so which comes it's very funny at times when it's like unfortunately I can't remember some of the really funny ones, but there were moments when I'm pretty sure I like gave a baby away to like to buy stuff or like to do stuff. I would just go, here, have baby, or like there was I think one where it was like you're around the campfire and it goes like, you can try and combine 2 items or something like that. And I was like, oh, I'm gonna give my gun to this horse, and it'll be like horse with gun, and what it actually does is just shoots the horse, so you just get dead horse. And then you can like go for, and like another thing, you can use dead horse to like go for a ride on it, and it's like, and he rides around on the dead horse. And it's all very funny, and as I said, like you can get like at least a couple of playthroughs out of it, where like the different cards being read out create funny scenarios that just don't make sense but are very funny. The problem is, as I said, after a couple of playthroughs, you kind of notice that like all the cards are split up into categories, and like those categories will always have like the same outcome. So if if you give money, there are like there's like a money category of like a gold coin or like a gold tooth or whatever. And then, if you use any of the stuff in that category, the outcome will always be the same. It'll just like, change what the item is. It'll just, insert blank will be, whatever you put differently. So, so that's where it's like sometimes, there's like there's like a horse category. And so it's like, oh, you can have like, just a regular horse, and if you do that one, oh, you'll go for a ride with the farmer on your regular horse. But then like, dead horse comes into that category as well. So, if you put dead horse, you have a ride on the dead horse, and it's all very funny. But the outcome is just the same. So it's one that, it fleshed out more to have even more replayability. Like, it has like a little bit of replayability as it stands, but I can't help but feel it could have more replayability, and that's what I'd like to see. It's a really cool and interesting and funny concept. So I think this one, like I said, I wasn't sure about the last one. I'm almost certain this one was done for a games jam. But yeah, I'd like to see them flesh this game out more. With a card cowboy 2, even more cards, maybe knock the categories on the head a little bit, so that it isn't just the same outcome if you use a gun or if you use a lasso or if you use like a horse. Instead, like the individual ones have their own unique outcomes. It would be more writing, yeah, but I think it would be worth it, and it would really help replayability. I'm gonna put it in here. This like, from Card Cowboy to Zoombini, it's kind of that era, that like zone of like B-, where it's like, these are really good games that are not that long, and like, funny enough, almost kind of built to like have like this element of, go on, you have to replay, replayability. Zoombinis, go back and get like another group of Zoombinis. Lego Island, go back and like fill out your score cube. Do this like, do this minigame with this character this time. And, do the same minigames with all the different characters. And Card Cowboy, go do like, another run through with, but like use different cards and like get different cards. But like, their content isn't really like, they're kind of built around replaying, or like, there's an intention for you to replay them. But they're just not that kind of game. There's just not enough. It's replayability, but just doing exactly the same thing over and over again. So yeah. Jak and Daxter. This is the first time I played a Jak and Daxter game. This was a lot of fun. I didn't really know what to go in, what I was in for with this game. I didn't know really anything about the Jak and Daxter series. I was very much, I was a Nintendo boy growing up, so I missed a lot of the iconic PlayStation 2 franchises and trilogies and series, and Jak and Daxter was one of them. And this was a lot of fun. This was, a lot of fun. It was, it was very impressive, I think, as well, for when it would have come out, because it's all, open world, no loading screens. There's like a few transitions here and there, but they're not loading screen transitions. They're all, it's all one big interconnected world, and I think that's very impressive. It fumbles that a little bit with the fact that it means backtracking is an absolute pain in the fucking ass. If you get to the ending, and at the end where they go, oh, you've got to have every power orb, or whatever they're called, to open this door, which, spoiler alert, the door doesn't fucking do anything. They just kind of, like, the door opens and it's just a white light, and they'll go, wow, and then walk into it or something. Not at all worth doing. But if you get there without all the power-ups or whatever it was, or however many you needed, backtracking is a pain in the ass, because then you have to like go backwards to like through the final level to get through to like the warp. And I think that's a game that could have been fixed if just instead of having like the three like, because there are kind of like three warp, like I guess world sections where it's like clearly like you've gone through the next world, like the next section of the game. It would work better if instead of being like you could warp, okay, one, it would work better if you could just warp anywhere, but if also instead of just only being able to warp between those like sections, if you could just go, oh, I want to revisit this specific level again, let me warp there, let me warp to that specific level. Because yeah, it becomes the point of like, I don't necessarily think it's that difficult of a game to 100% complete, really. But if you miss something and go and just leave that level behind, and then at some point afterwards realize you want to complete the level or whatever, that's when it becomes an absolute pain in the ass to do. That's when it becomes, you know, borderline impossible. So it's not like a really difficult level to, or difficult game to play. It's very much on the same level as kind of a Banjo-Kazooie, I think, or you know, the first Banjo-Kazooie at least. It feels very much similar to that, collectathon wise. But yeah, the open world aspect of it makes it very difficult to backtrack through. But overall, the game itself is still very fun. It, you know what, again, it kind of weakens towards the later bits. The later bits just get a bit too, some of the later levels get a bit too obtuse. But actually, again, I will say, I'm pretty sure it's a game with no life system, as far as I can remember. Which is very impressive. You know what, yeah, I'll play that. Again, yeah, a game with no life system for its time, very impressive. Very intuitive, ahead of its time. So that was nice, especially on some of the levels where it feels like you will keep dying. I will say, I don't know, I didn't exactly like how the health was done. Like, as there no life system, but some of the health was done a bit weirdly. I don't know, like just how like you got your health back. I remember, I don't remember exactly how it was, but I remember it being weird. But maybe that's me. Pokemon Coliseum. Pokemon Coliseum. Okay, so you remember how right at the beginning of this section, I said, oh, you know, Pokemon Scarlet, you know what I liked about that? Is I could just run past all the enemies, run past all the fights, and it didn't matter. Pokemon Coliseum is, it's like if you couldn't do that in a game. So because there's no, like, not no real there's still catching Pokemon in Pokemon Coliseum, but because it's extremely limited to specific Pokemon in the game, there's no wild Pokemon to catch. The game is just battles. The game is just battling trainers. Which means a lot of the time there are sections of the game that is just corridor of trainers. It's just you will fight a trainer, and then 3 steps down there'll be another trainer, and then 3 steps down there'll be another trainer, and they are just corridors of trainers. They're just corridors of fights. And obviously, you know, it feels like sort of like, yeah, it's a Pokemon game. What the fuck are you after? Like, better spacing, I guess, you know? Like, it definitely feels like, and because it's not a very easy game as well, it very much feels like these corridors of fights are like, you go fight one person, and then you run to the fucking Pokemon Center that sometimes fucking costs you money, and then, you know, you run back to do the second fight, and then you have to run all the way back to the fucking Pokemon Center. And then, yeah, and then this all culminates in the final bit where you have to do, I think, 6 fights in a row and only after the the whole tournament thing, not a tournament, it's like a Coliseum, I guess. I mean, that would make sense, you know, the Coliseum, but the final bit of the game, this is probably the time I've beaten the fewest games in, or you know, well, yeah, beaten the fewest, but you know, given up, like been unable to beat, given up or been unable to beat the most games in a year. Because I didn't beat Story of Seasons, Wonderful Life, which I know, you know, can you beat that one? Technically, yes, but oh well. I didn't beat Yoshi's Island. I didn't beat Advance Wars 2. I'm not going to count The Sims because you can't beat The Sims. I don't know whether I'd count Zoombinis because I guess I did beat Zoombinis and I got to Zoombiniville. But sometimes the game doesn't really treat that as beating Zoombinis. And I didn't beat Pokemon Coliseum. And spoilers for the next game, I didn't beat Winds of Anthos. But yeah, but no, it expects you to do 4 battles in a row without healing in between. Then I believe it heals you after the 4th battle. I don't think it heals you after that one. For like, you know, there's another battle after that. And it's, yeah, there's just, no. I couldn't do it. I didn't want to do even more grinding offline for, you know, what would, you know, if it went well, would be like maybe half an hour to an hour. It wasn't worth it. So, you know, the game has like a ridiculously bump. I mean, I don't know if it's a bump in difficulty. If it is just extremely difficult to begin with. No, there must be a bump somewhere because it's this weird thing where like the game starts off with Pokemon at, like, your Pokemon start off at like level 30 and in some areas you fight like at the beginning you definitely don't fight like level 30 Pokemon. There's definitely this in the fucking Battle Mountain or whatever where there's like the 100 floors of Mount Battle or and as I said, your starting Pokemon that you start the game with started like, maybe it's not 30, but it's like 25 or something, maybe. But at the beginning, they still throw you up against, at the beginning of Mount Battle, they still throw you up against level 10 Pokemon. You're just like demolishing these Pokemon that you're not getting any XP from because they're so fucking low level. But you still have to do it to actually get to the point that's, you know, rewarding. So yeah, Pokemon Coliseum is stupidly tough. And, you know, it's an interesting story and an interesting setting. But that's mostly all it has going for it. It's an interesting story and an interesting setting, and I like that side of it. But in terms of actual gameplay, it's a very weak Pokemon game because it is too invested in being ball-achingly difficult. What a shame. I don't know whether this would be like, I don't know. This is very much on the borderline of C and D. This is like, you know, C minus, D plus, maybe. I don't know where I'd put this. I know, they're like, as I said, this is like, that's like perfectly on the border. That's like, you know, I don't know, perfectly in the middle. Okay. Now, if you thought I was gonna catch flack for my Story of Seasons Wonderful Life opinion, then have I got a wicked tale for you that will, you know, make you hate me even more. You know, if I wasn't already exiled from the Harvest Moon community for being too correct with my opinions, they've like double exiled me. They've exiled my exilation. I don't know if that's the word for it. You know, they've exiled my exile. They've, you know, they've cast me to the Forbidden Lands. They've, you know, they've hired a hitman. My days are numbered. Watch out. Winds of Anthos is fine. I'm sorry, this is you know, I don't know if it's a hill I'm willing to die on, but it's a hill I'm at least willing to stand on and yell at for a minute, you know, yell from for a minute. And it's the Natsumi Harvest Moon games are nowhere near as bad as people make them out to be. I'm sorry, they're not. You might not like them. You don't have to like them. You don't have to love them. Fuck it, I don't love them either. I don't think they're that good. Well, I don't think they're that great. They're not fantastic games. They're not brilliant games. As I've fucking shown, that it's not gonna be my favorite farming sim of the year. You know, but they get so much flack from the Harvest Moon community and the Story Seasons community and the Harvest Moon fandom purely for just existing. And we talked about this during the Winds of Anthos streams, and honestly, like, it'll have been, maybe it already has been, I can never remember. It's been around about 10 years since the name split happened between Harvest Moon and Story Seasons, between like Marvelous and Natsumi, and you know, things got confusing. It's been 10 years. If you genuinely still care about that shit, get the fuck over it. Jesus Christ, it's been 10 fucking years. Move on. Fuck me, dude. Move the fuck on. God damn it. Like, get over it. Find something new to give a shit about. Fucking move on, okay? That's my advice. That's my you know, call out to the Harvest Moon community. Move the fuck on. Get the fuck over it. Hate something new for a bit. Jesus, it's been 10 years, okay? But in a more serious kind of way, as I said, these games are despised and absolutely hated, and or like, you know, at least by a certain subsect of the community. Like, I'm sure if you go, you know, if you go on anything like Natsumi tweets about it, you will find people who just happily engage with it as just like, haha, farming sim. I love farming sims, you know. Like, you very much should find, like, it should be normal to view it as a very much sort of holy shit, 2 cakes sort of scenario. But like, you know, people overhate the Harvest Moon, the Natsumi Harvest Moons, and make them out like they're the most heinous, villainous, evil video games ever. And they're not. As I said, you don't have to like them, you don't have to think they're good. But I genuinely don't think they're anywhere near as bad as a lot of people will make them out to be. They're fine. They're alright. They're not bad. They're okay. And Winds of Anthos has continued that tradition of a Harvest Moon, an Natsumi Harvest Moon game that's like, yeah, that's pretty good. That's alright. Yeah, that's not bad. It's very much their take on, you know, what if Breath of the Wild, I was about to call it Breath of the Moon. What if Breath of the Wild was, you know, a Harvest Moon game? What if Breath of the Wild was a farming sim? Which is a bit weird considering it's 6 years after Breath of the Wild came out. Like, they've made games since Breath of the Wild. Like, this isn't the first game that they've done since Breath of the Wild. And it's all been very Breath of the Wild. But this is just like 6 years later, they've gone, oh, we should do a very Breath of the Wild kind of game. I don't know. It's one of those things where sometimes I feel like it works, sometimes it doesn't. It's very, you know, in that aspect of it, it feels very wanting to have its cake and eat it too. It's, I don't know, two styles that don't necessarily feel like they could combine. I think you could. I think there is a way to do an open world farming sim, but they very much feel like, you know, they're at odds with each other. They feel, you know, an open world game where you're constantly moving, you're not in a, you know, you're not in the same place for a long time. You're always exploring somewhere new. And a farming sim where you have to stay in the same spot for you know, you have to stay looking after your farm that does not move. And I think, yeah, I don't think Winds of Anthos, you know, successfully marries the two styles of gameplay. I don't think they clash as much as maybe you think they could. They could definitely clash worse. Well, I bet it's more Fire Emblem. Yeah, there's a fucking Fire Emblem. They put like a little fucking smiley face next to you that it's like, no, just because you like the song doesn't mean it belongs in a relaxing playlist. I'm gonna change the playlist. You know, Nintendo Music to work in the morning. It's 9:45 at night. And it's front loaded with Wii Party music, Jesus. But whatever. Anyway, yeah, no, as I said, Winds of Avanthar, like, the gameplay styles don't clash as much as I think they could. They could definitely feel a lot more clashing, but you know, they don't. That doesn't necessarily mean they go together as well as I think they could either. I don't know. I think comparing it to the other games, the other farming sims in this list, it's very interesting because actually one thing I didn't really compare before the Green Moon with Story of Seasons Wonderful Life is Wonderful Life. I do like the characters, or I think I at least want to like the characters because they feel weird and they feel odd, and you know, it's one of the few games that I feel like has, you know, dared to be a bit experimental with its character design and with its, like, with the people in the village. Like, I don't know, like, I feel like a lot of time with Story Seasons, everyone's a bit, not cookie cutter necessarily, but they're all very archetypal, sort of, you know, everyone is very clean, very polished, very perfect. You know, even you know, maybe the occasional time you get a sort of a little bit of a bitchy character, you know, they're not, you know, it's always got to be revealed that they're not actually really, you know, they're all misunderstood or whatever. And I, you know, obviously I think that, you know, Wonderful Life does this a little bit with Nami as well, but I don't know. I think there was just a matter of just like this game, like Wonderful Life wasn't afraid to have just some freaky, weird looking, you know, odd looking people, and I think that, you know, that's an aspect of it that goes unappreciated. The problem is I never felt any motivation to befriend these villagers. Like, you know, before the Green Moon, all you would do is sometimes you would just randomly walk into a place and a cutscene would happen, and you know, that cutscene would develop the friendship between you and one of the other characters. But after a while I felt compelled to get the cutscenes. I wanted to see how, like, the relationship between the player character and Elvis would develop. I wanted to see how the relationship between the player character and Pony would develop. You know, I like seeing Int come out of their shell and, you know, and try and befriend the rest of the town. You know, I liked seeing that stuff, and you know, the characters were compelling to me in that game, and I wanted to befriend them and I wanted to get to know them, and I liked seeing their stories and how they interacted, and you know, what you know, how their lives went about. And I think, as I said, I want that in Story of Seasons, but the gameplay never actually motivated me to do that. Like, I wanted to get to know these people, but I never felt compelled to. I never actually, you know, wanted enough to do it in the gameplay. And as I was going to say, is I think this is definitely an area that Natsume's Harvest Moons lack in, is that the characters are just there. I don't think I've ever had like a favorite character in a Natsume Harvest Moon game. Although I did like original Doc before they decided that he couldn't just be an old man. Like, before they decided Doc had to be a kid. I don't know why they did that. But I don't know, truth be told, I don't know. I think Story of Seasons struggles with that a little bit as well. I think Story of Seasons struggles with just, you know, how interesting are the actual characters, how compelling is it to get to know them and to get to learn their story and who they are, you know. Maybe that's just because I don't engage in the whole, like, waifu husbando element of Story of Seasons, which I know is really big, but I find it all very cringy. That's a personal thing. That's, you know, no shade to you if you do like that whole thing, but and that's not to say like I don't like the idea of, like, you know, marrying any of the marriage candidates or anything like that. it's very coincidental that I've just never actually gotten that far in the games myself. I think that's just usually because nowadays the requirements for it are so like extreme that my interest in playing the game falls off before I can get to that point. But at least, like, I don't know, in like previous Story of Seasons games, I've at least, like, you know, like I remember in Pioneers of Olive Town, I at least had like, I remember there being characters like, oh, if I play this for long enough, I could see myself wanting to marry this character. I can't really think of like any of the characters that I'd do that for in something like Winds of Anthos. I think I'd probably just end up going with Judy because she, you know, not even necessarily the easiest, but I think I just had the most affection with her. But yeah, I don't know. As I said, I think the characters is one of the weaker areas that the Natsumi Harvest Moons have. But as I said, I think Story of Seasons struggle with that as well, truthfully. But the farming gameplay is fine. It's good. I like the crop mutation stuff. I think that's interesting. I know it's not necessarily unique, but I think it's done fine. I wish there was a bit better way of figuring out what mutates into what. So, like, even then, sometimes the guide for it isn't like the, you know, the little picture clues they give you. I couldn't always tell what they meant. Like, there was the one that was a leaf, and it's like, I don't actually know what this, like, is this a season? Is this a, what's it called? Is this a season, or is this like a type of like ground that it grows on? Like, I don't know. You know, climate. And yeah, okay, one of my biggest questions, and this is the reason why I didn't finish the game. I don't care for mining. I can't think of a single Harvest Moon game, Story of Seasons or Harvest Moon, either of the series, where I've enjoyed engaging with the mining. It's been something that, you know, in a lot of them you kind of have to do at a certain point, especially with ones with the story. But I've never actually like enjoyed it. I've never thought this is like, you know, the enjoyable bit of like making money. Like, you know, in some of them I can see like, oh, you know, I like, you know, sometimes fishing is fun to go off and do occasionally. I actually enjoyed fishing in this one. It's not really easy nor difficult, but I think once you catch a fish and then you can like mark out where you find it, I think that really helps with the fishing, and I think that makes it a lot more interesting. Also, fishing pays well, so that makes it more enticing. But yeah, the mining just isn't fun for me, and that's always how like these games ramp up like the story, is you just need rarer and rarer items from the mine, and I just don't find that interesting or enjoyable. And yeah, and so that's why I didn't finish this one either, was because you know, I was streaming it, I was like, I'm gonna beat this tonight or die trying, and I died trying. I'm dead. Whoops. And yeah, and because after some point you got to get all these like rare things from the mine, and it's just like I can't. No, I'm not doing that. I'm going to bed now. Bye bye. So I'm gonna break up the stretch of games of these are very, you know, these are games that don't have a lot of content but are meant to be replayable but aren't actually really replayable at all, and put it in, you know, a kind of B minus, you know, a high B minus, we'll say. But yeah, as I said, the gameplay itself is fine. It's good. You know, the farming and engaging in the world is actually pretty funny. Like, it's a very bog standard farming sim. You know, it's nothing terrible, but it's also nothing mind blowing. It's nothing fantastic. It's nothing that there aren't other games that will have done it much better. Like Before the Green Moon. You should play Before the Green Moon. You should buy Before the Green Moon. You should play, buy, support, and love Before the Green Moon. Okay? There's one thing you take away from this stream. it's that you should buy before the Green Moon. And if there's a second one, then Death Bulge. I think in that order, because I think before the Green Moon, I think is like slightly lesser known than Death Bulge. I think. I don't know. Up next, so now we're getting into, I mean, yeah, all these ones have been recent games anyway, but now we're getting to like really recent. Like this is like, I'm pretty sure games that I've played this month. I think, I don't actually, I mean, it might have been just at the end of November that I played American Arcadia, but American Arcadia, this is a game that is very much driven by its story and its dialogue and its characters. Gameplay-wise, it's not too strong. The gameplay leaves a bit to be desired. It's either very like, you know, puzzle platformer, not too interesting, or, you know, 3D puzzle, 3D world puzzle, you know, walk up to a thing and then, you know, go to a slide puzzle sort of thing. It's you know, the gameplay never really blows my mind, but the story was pretty good, and I like the characters interacting with each other, and I like that element of it. I think it was all very well acted and, you know, performed. I think the voice actors all did a very good job, very well done. If I don't know, the story is basically very heavily based off of The Truman Show. It's very Truman Showy, which is one of my favorite films. So I really like that aspect of it, and I think it tries to do a little bit of other stuff as well. I think it tries to sort of make it a bit more modern. You know, I guess it kind of has something to say about, you know, streaming and people who put their, like, you know, their lives on show for entertainment and stuff like that. And I don't know, I think for the most part it's pretty good. The one thing I will say is I was always a little bit soured by how cynical I felt the ending was. And I think it's because it does one thing. And it's kind of funny because I watched the not Zero Punctuation. It's not Zero Punctuation anymore. I watched the Fully Ramblematic review of this. And he would go through all the things, you know, he thought, like, yeah, pretty much the same thing I kind of thought of, like, you know, the gameplay was fine, but not really great or anything. And he was like, so why did I like it? And it's like, oh, because it had a good ending. It had a very satisfying ending. And he kind of, like, you know, made it the point of, like, of how the, you know, the game ends and then there's the credits, in the sense that, like, that's what he was saying is the ending. And it's interesting because I was reading all the stuff that happens, like, in the, you know, in the credits. It was doing a lot of sort of what happened after, where are they now sort of thing. And that was the sort of stuff that soured it a little bit, because that's where it ended up feeling very cynical, because then it just kind of, none of it mattered, or none of it mattered, you know, nothing really good came out of it. It was all the sort of where are they now was all very, like, negative and cynical, and sort of like all the corporations didn't care and they bought out the courts, and, you know, the lawsuits weren't working, you know, shit like that. And as I said, it was always very cynical, and I didn't really like that. So if you cut off the ending at the actual ending and don't pay attention to any of the where are they now stuff of the credits, and I'm like, actually, yeah, I guess it does have a good ending. And I remember thinking that's one of the reasons where, like, I think it differs from, you know, why I really like The Truman Show, is because the end does, you know, The Truman Show ends where it ends, and you don't know what Truman's life is like after he leaves the show. You know, you don't know what his life is like in the real world. And it's like, you kind of don't need to know. It's left up to, not even left up to interpretation, because there's nothing to interpret. You don't know what he's going to do. But that's kind of the point. It's like, he is no longer on show. He is no longer, you know, this like, I don't know, not really a puppet, but, you know, he's no longer this spectacle. He leaves the show and he just becomes this ordinary person, and you don't get to see what happens after it, because that's the point. You know, you don't know what his life, you don't know what everyone else's life is like, so you no longer know what his life is like. And I think kind of does have, like, I think it wants to go for, like, a similar thing with American Arcadia, But by having the sort of where are they now, what, you know, follow up, like here's what happened with the lawsuits and here's what these guys are doing, sort of thing. As I said, it ends up coming across very cynical, and as I said, it kind of soured the ending for me. Like, it's an interesting shame as well, because I think that, like, the whole like final sequence leading up to that like the ending is a very funny and very entertaining sequence. But yeah. But then, as I said, the ending kind of falls a little bit. It kind of sours itself a smidge. I think I'm gonna put it here, but I think I'm also just gonna move Card Cowboy up. I think I'm gonna say I did enjoy that more than Warrior Island 3 definitely had more content, but I think that the brief amount of content I got out of Card Cowboy, I'd say I enjoyed more. Okay, final 2 games. Not the last time I streamed, but the last time I streamed with the Sonic Adventure 2 randomizer. So we don't need to rank that because I already ranked Sonic Adventure 2 a couple years ago. But everybody wham wham. This was a delightfully charming game. I said at the time it felt like if you could like improv a game, like in the same way that maybe a band gets together for a jam session or a group of actors improv, you know, and just do like comedy bits. If it were possible to do that with a game, this is what that game would be. This is the style of game that would be, and I love it for that. This game is very funny, it's very charming, it's very silly and daft, and you could tell that the people who made it had so much fun making it, and all that fun comes out in the game. The game itself is very minimal. There really is just sort of one element of like, they made like the game part of the game, the building the snowman contest, and then that's that. But I don't know, like I don't necessarily have a problem with that, like that, because this could have easily have been like a sort of, you know, yeah, this could have been like a refresh or a Card Cowboy type of scenario. Well, like, you know, you get like that, like they made the you know, the snowman building game mechanics, and they go pick your difficulty, easy, medium, or hard, and then that's it. And then, you know, you build your snowman and you go, oh, so that's, you know, the building the snowman competition, and that's the game. But they added like, you know, all the characters and the cutscenes and songs and, you know, all these silly little intervals to it as well. That, you know, it really fleshes it out. It makes the festival, the Wham Wham Festival, feel like a festival, and it's, you know, it's a lot of fun. And the game part of it isn't as much, like there's definitely less game than there is cutscenes and just talking to people and watching people interact with each other and, you know, say silly things and listen to silly songs, but I don't mind it. Like, I think it is very good and very charming and very fun. Yeah, I'm gonna put it there because I don't know. I don't know, because that's where I've put it. Shut up. And then, funny enough, Scoot Kaboom and the Tomb of Doom, final game we got to rank tonight, almost in a way feels like the opposite of that. They're like, this game is nothing but gameplay. This game is all just one go through the game. It reminds me, I've never played this, but it reminds me a little bit of the game VVV V6. Not really in like, you know, there's no like all like the gravity flipping stuff, but I don't know, it's one big like, here's the, you know, I'm pretty sure in that game the game is like overarching one world platformer sort of thing. Again, this is a game very much built on like replayability. Like there's a lot of different game modes to go through the Tomb of Doom again and again with like different different mechanics and different things. But, you know, it's only a couple of hours to get through it the first time, and I think that was fine. You know, I don't know if like me personally, I probably wouldn't need to go through it again and again with all the different mechanics, but I think you know, it was the game itself was pretty good. Like, you know, very challenging. It was fun finding the hidden bonus gems and like going through the challenges with them. And you know, it never felt too like impossible. like I think I worry about playing games like this where it, you know, feels like, wow, I'm really fucking like sucking ass and this game is like really kicking my ass. But I don't know, this was the right, this had like that perfect, you know, perfect difficulty curve. It got, you know, it got difficult in the right time, the right places, in the right way. And then, you know, never felt like too impossibly difficult, but it never felt like it was getting easier, you know? Or even if it, you know, in the moments where they, you know, it maybe did, it just felt like, you know, it was nice little moments of respite. I never know how to pronounce that word. So I'm gonna put it there. So that is that's my list of my 23 games for 2023. Let's see your list of 23 games to 23. I don't care about your games. I'm sorry. Yeah. I have a little. Yeah, you know, because there's most stuff in B. It's like, you know, is that how I feel? But I think, yeah, I think I'd say that's accurate. As I said, I think Death Bulge and Before the Green Moon are joint first place, joint top best games I've played this year. And then if we're including games that I played offline, I think Tears of the Kingdom would be joint with like Pikmin 4. You know, that was, I did play Tears of the Kingdom offline, and that was an extremely brilliant game. Similar to how, you know, how I was saying Sludge Life 2, it's still very good, but the impact is lessened a little bit because you played Sludge Life 1. There's definitely a bit of that with Tears of the Kingdom. Like, you know, you won't have exactly the same kind of magical, like, whoa, experience because of playing Breath of the Wild. But honestly, I do think it does enough things differently. That I still think it works. I mean, I still had like an amazing time replaying Breath of the Wild, though playing Tears of the Kingdom, where, you know, it's not even just a replay. It does have new stuff. It does have new game mechanics. I think was, you know, interesting and very good. Especially since, you know, I'm gonna say there's been a weird sort of like thing recently of like, oh, everybody's been, you know, I don't know if Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom are actually as good as people say. No, the games are good. The games are great. Sorry, fuck you. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. They just are good. They are just great games. Again, you don't have to like them, but they are just very good games, and you are just wrong. What else did I play offline this year? I played a lot of Picross. I always playing Picross nowadays because it's, you know, a good excuse to listen to music. You know, pop on some music and just zone out to some Picross. I mean, that's essentially it. Picross has replaced fucking Story of Seasons Wonderful Life for the game that I can zone out to and play music. But the difference is Picross is kind of not necessarily built for that, but that makes sense for Picross. If you know, Story of Seasons, I don't know. But you know what? I replayed Far Cry 3 earlier this year. I played it like maybe a few days before Tears of the Kingdom came out. So I think definitely past the halfway point, and then Tears of the Kingdom came out, and I just dropped it. And then eventually I did go back to it after. And that game is It's all right. It's nowhere near as good as I remember it. Like, I remember that being one of my favorite games from that, like, time. I remember, like, I don't know if it was 2012, 2013, but I probably would have said that that was, like, you know, at the time, maybe again, because I just probably wasn't playing a lot of new games. But I was, you know, I would have said that's my favorite game of that year, probably. And maybe, if, you know, depending on how many games from that year I've played, maybe it still is, but, yeah, I don't know. As I said, I went back and I think it is just, it falls victim to one of those things of like, this was like new at the time and you go, wow, this is really cool. And then going back once it's been done so many times, you're like, wow, I don't care. But at some point that was like the, you know, the new style, the new hot way of doing things. I don't know if I've played... Oh, I played Yakuza 4. I think that was this year. Yeah, that was another really good game. I liked it more than Yakuza 3. Yakuza 3 has this problem of, like, being the first one that jumps from, like, the Kiwami engines to the old, like, remaster engines. So there's just a massive jump in, like... There's just a massive downgrade in, like, how it plays. And so Yakuza 3 will always just be the, like, oh, it's fucking Yakuza 3. Not because necessarily it's bad or anything, but because it, I think because it's the one that, like, has, like, that, you know, it's the first one going back to an older engine. But no, Yakuza 4 was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed with it. I think I definitely engaged with the story a lot more than I did Yakuza 3. And did a lot of the completion stuff again. Like, I've never been able to complete a Yakuza game, but I always like to try and at least do all the sub-stories if I can. I don't know if I'm trying to think if I played other games. I did play Payday 3 when that came out, and that was a mess. Like, not necessarily bad, but like, or bad itself as the game, but the game is also a hot mess. And also that's one where it's like, I don't know, I guess it's because it's like a live service game, I guess you'd call it. Not really done, so I don't know if I can rank it. I think that might be it. I don't know if I played any other games this year. Maybe I did, like, towards the beginning of the year, but I don't think so. I don't know. I've got like a bunch of games that I do actually want to play offline. You know, just for myself, but it's not even a matter of getting time to do it. It's just like actually then being asked to do it instead of just playing Picross again. No idea. I love Picross. So fun. But yeah, so there you go. That's my tier list of games I streamed in 2023. My 23 games for 2023. If you disagree with any of them, please comment on the video and get my engagement up, and also follow me and then subscribe and then send me all of your money. And if you agree with it, I don't know, do that as well. So we've had the meat of the stream. If the stream is a sandwich, the bread is the bit before we do the tier list, and then the filling is the tier list. And now we're on to the second piece of bread. I know that's not how you eat a sandwich. They should call it, me should call it something different, because as I said, no, you eat a sandwich. You eat a sandwich, you get all of it at once. You don't make a sandwich, then eat the slice of bread, then eat whatever filling you put in, and then eat the second slice of bread. It's like I don't know, what's the thing that you do that with? It's like nope, I can't think of anything. Brain fried. But yeah, so winding down for for the stream for the end now. Yeah. This actually, I'm wondering if this is like the latest I've streamed into the year before. I feel like this like maybe usually is around about the time that I'll do like my final stream. Yeah. But I don't know. I think it's weird because I just didn't stream last week, so it feels like I should have already done it. It feels like I'm just, well, actually no, because last year I remember I was ill, I think. So I think my like last stream of the year really was like close to Christmas. It was a lot closer to Christmas because I was ill, and then I was just like, okay, I think I'm not dead for this one day. So I'm gonna do my, I'm gonna do my final stream, and then bye. Thankfully, I'm not dying this year. Things to look forward to in 2024. I'm gonna be streaming more games, I guess. As I said, I don't know if I'm gonna go back up to 3 streams, because while I did like that time that I went back to 3 streams during like August when I was doing Pikmin 4 and Death Bulge, I think again it's part of me that I don't want to feel obligated to do it, you know. I think there was I think it's this weird thing where, like, I don't know, having a schedule is nice, and I like routine, but at the same time, I'm very much aware of that whole thing of just like, you know, oh, if you kind of treat it like a job, it'll feel less fun. And, you know, I think at some point, or like, you know, years ago maybe, I'd always see that sort of thing, but like, fuck off, that's a bit patronizing. Maybe, I don't know, patronizing the right word, but, you know, I'd sort of see it as a bit like, something like that. Maybe patronizing is the word. But I don't know. But then, yeah, it kind of was the case, you know. But I don't actually think of any games coming out in 2024. There definitely are games coming out in 2024, but I can't think of any. I can't think of what games are coming out. There's is the Luigi's Mansion 2 remake supposed to be next year? I don't know what I'm gonna do about that, because I've streamed Luigi's Mansion in 2020, and then next year I was like, oh, I can stream Luigi's Mansion 2, and you know, that's like 3 years of Halloween content doing the Luigi's Mansion each year. And then I just got to it, and I was just like, I don't want to fucking buy Luigi's Mansion 2. I thought that game sucked. Like, I really didn't like Luigi's Mansion 2, so I was just like, I don't really want to buy it, to be honest. And I feel like I'm at the same point where it's like, oh, Luigi's Mansion 2 HD. I don't really fucking care enough to buy that either, to be honest. There's the, what's it, Princess Peach Showtime. That might be good, maybe, I don't know. Why not? Thousand Year Door remake, again, I don't know. I think there's like another big RPG, but part of me feels the same way as like Mario RPGs. I think I might just go, I'll keep that for like myself, maybe. Play other games, you know, other RPGs that I want to get to, you know. This must be a really old thing. I've got like a list of games that I do. Oh yeah, no, this one is like very old. Like I looked at it, and it's like up next, Star Fox 1 and 2, Zoombinis, and Pokemon Nuzlocke. And I'm like, when the fuck would have this been? Because like the Pokemon, I did a Pokemon Nuzlocke in 2020, but I've only done Zoombinis now. I think I did Star Fox 1 and 2 in 2020 as well, but I might be wrong on that. No, yeah, because then I would have done Star Fox 64 in 2021, and then I did Star Fox Adventure last year. So I don't fucking know when that would have been, where 2 things that I did in 2020 also, like, I guess I just didn't do Zoombinis. Yeah, I've got a lot of stuff that I can stream. A lot of stuff that I guess I should stream. I really would like my 3DS. My 3DS has been in purgatory for so fucking long. That's like one thing that slightly annoyed me, but I don't want to be an asshole about it. But like, sometime I think it was last year, my 3DS started like breaking, I guess. excuse me. And I was like, oh shit, this is gonna be like a pain in the ass to send off for repairs because what's it called? Because he's got a capture cards. You know, any random person who works in repairing consoles or whatever will be like, I don't know what the fuck this is. I don't know what to do about it. I don't know how to get past it without fucking it up. But eventually I send it to somebody who does 3DS capture card installations. And thankfully, I managed to find, like, what might be the one person who does 3DS capture cards installations in the UK. So I don't have to pay, like, ridiculous amount for postage. And so I sent it off to them. And, and they did the repair, and it was, well, okay, it was a bit expensive because like, I had to get, like, basically ended up having to source another 3DS for it and just, like, merge the two of them. And it was all fine and dandy, and I got it back, and then there was a problem where, like, the Wi-Fi didn't work, or, like, the Wi-Fi thing wasn't working, and this was, like, just before the 3DS eShop was going down. Like, at this point, it's like, oh, the fucking Wi-Fi not working doesn't fucking matter. But at the time that I got it back, it was like, shit, I've got, like, £10 on my fucking 3DS, my 3DS account. I need to fucking buy something now, before, like, before the eShop closes. But, like, the fucking Wi-Fi isn't working. So I'm, like, opening it up, and then, like, in the process of opening it up, the fucking, the battery, something, I think it's the battery, but, like, comes loose, and, like, it's, like, had to been, like, they soldered it on, because, it was, like, ill-fitting, or was, I don't know. They did it for some reason, and it wasn't, a proper reason. I just don't remember what it was. It needed to be soldered, and, they were like, okay, but it wasn't really, you gotta be careful, it's still a bit loose, sort of thing. And unfortunately, I wasn't very careful, so it came, I'll accept that was a little bit of my fault. But it was also, something that I was looking into because it wasn't, because it came back with a new problem. So, and then I sent it off back to them, like, okay, can you fix this again? And they were like, yeah, no problem. Sent them money for it. And then that was in, like, March. And then, but since then, it's just been, like, a fucking, like, this whole thing of, like, they've had, like, constant problems with other people, and, like, people trying to jump the queue, and people, like, refunding them and fucking up their whole, like, business. And it's just like, man, I don't want to be an asshole about this, because I'm sure there are people who have been waiting for even fucking longer. And they've clearly, like, had to go through, like, a whole bunch of shit, and they've got a lot on their plate at different times. But at the same time, I'm just sitting there going, I want my fucking 3DS back, fuck me! So hopefully I get my 3DS back next year, and I can stream all the fucking things that I want to on my 3DS, because I've got so many things I want to stream. 3DS, so many things. I really do. But yeah, we'll see. I also need my 3DS if I want to do the next Professor Layton game. We've been doing a Professor Layton game every year since 2020, and I'm pretty sure the next one is actually a 3DS game. So I need my 3DS for that one. Excuse me. But yeah, so I don't know if I've got anything big planned next year, just do more of the same, more of what I've been doing this year, just streaming whatever. And hopefully it'll go well, I said no. I play it all by ear. If it goes well, hey. If it goes bad, oh, I'm crying myself to sleep. But yeah, I'm looking forward to doing more of this 2024. As I said at the beginning, like, there's definitely a point towards the end of last year that I wasn't sure if I still enjoyed streaming, but it was very much like a fuck. I hope I have to enjoy streaming because I don't know what else to do with my time. And I definitely enjoy streaming again now. So I'm looking forward to doing more streaming and having more fun with streaming in 2024. And with that, I think I shall leave you for the evening. So thank you all for watching and hanging out, not just for today, but for any point in the year. If you've stopped by the stream, if you've chatted, if you've done anything, if you've subbed, or done anything, you know, just generally nice in my direction, thank you. I appreciate that. So I hope you have a wonderful Christmas if you celebrate it, a wonderful holiday season if you have a holiday. If you have no holidays in this upcoming season, I hope you have a wonderful next couple of weeks. It's New Year's. You've got to celebrate New Year's, surely. So I hope you have a wonderful rest of your year, and the rest of your day, and the rest of your night, and the rest of your whatever. And I really need to get an actual ending stream because I'm just going to go to the fucking BRB. We'll be right back next year. Actually, I think this is just a text one, isn't it? So I can just... Oh no, it's an image. Oh. I was hoping I could edit it. I'm sure I could... If I could be asked enough, I probably could like edit it in real time to, you know, make a quick fix, but I can't. So oh well. But I can quickly makeshift an edit that says we'll be back next year instead of right back. But anyway, yeah, that is going to be for me. So thank you all for watching and hanging out anytime you may have this year. I appreciate it as always. As I said, I hope you have a wonderful holiday season and a wonderful rest of your year. And hopefully I will see you in 2024. Bye-bye.